fight. Don't let them come. Things in SVG getting too hard.
Run you LP out of your yard.
This government treating me too bad.
Run you LP out of your yard.
Before the lack of work drive me mad.
Run you LP out of your
When
yard.
the children cry, we don't get real.
Run you LP out of your
How
yard.
you run them? All
Out of your yard.
I run them. All
Out of your yard.
I run them.
Out of your yard.
Run the LP
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
How you run them?
Out of your yard.
Run the LP
Out of your yard.
Vincent people losing their mind. Things really wrong. Things getting harder all the time. Harder. Poor people can't maintain their home. No. So many people struggling alone. It's pressure. Things in the country keep getting dread. We keep fighting for daily bread. Year after year is hard to campaign. We can't take another 5 years again. No. Things in SVG getting too hard.
Run you LP out of your yard.
This government treated me too bad.
Run you LP out of your yard.
Before the lack of work drive me mad.
Run you LP out of your
When
yard.
the children cry, we just get real
Run you
sad.
LP out of your
I
yard.
want to run them.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your
I
yard.
want to run them.
Out of your yard.
Run the LP
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your
I
yard.
want to run them.
Out of your yard.
Yes, run them.
Out of your yard.
Run your LP
Out of your yard.
Yes, we can't take this no more. It's time for them to go. It's pressure. Run them. Run them. Real pressure. In a minute, what run them? Lee, what run them? Kingston, run them. Nespo, run them. Sinta, run them. Kennedy, run them. Run them, run them, run them. Well, the government just don't care. They don't care. They want to keep us living in fear. That's all they want in the country. Every time you go and protest, there's a problem. Labor police, they come and make an arrest. Yes. When they violate and we try fight, only looking for justice and right. When we talk, they tell us, shut up, sending the police full like we are. Oh, God. Things in SVG getting too hard.
Run you LP out of your yard.
This government treating me too bad.
Run you LP out of your yard.
Before the lack of work drive me mad.
Run you LP out of your
When
yard.
the children cry, we just get real.
Run you LP out of your yard.
I run them.
Out of your yard.
I run them.
Out of your yard.
So again, good morning, good morning.
LB
Out of your yard.
What you saying?
Out of your yard.
run them.
Out of your yard.
Hey, wherever you are this morning, welcome to the New Times program, man. There we go.
Run Camelo.
Out of your yard.
Hey,
Otto.
Out of your yard.
Run Ralphie.
Out of your yard.
how you mean?
Out of your yard.
Run Luke Brown.
Out of your yard.
Run Brewster.
Out of your yard.
Run Carlos.
Out of your yard. Out of your yard.
And I'm telling you right now, they're running till they're running scared, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome to the New Times program. Hey, gotta let you know of some activities coming up first before we jump into the things. NDP again continues to be on the move.
This is it. Enough is enough. The people say they gone now.
And you better believe it, they're gone now. This is the year, ladies and gentlemen. So let me just start off by giving you some updates of some upcoming activities to the NDP.
Gone. What did they
Gotta bring up the Central Leeward crew.
do like? Yes. Don't you
They're gonna be doing big things.
just stand up?
And it's gonna be happening on Sunday, the 13th of July.
Remember? Forcing them to take vaccine.
Get ready for the Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Myro. And like I say, that's gonna be happening Sunday, the 13th of July
Enough.
on board the MV Gemstar. Grab your tickets now, they're going like hot bread.
Now.
Grab your tickets now for only $80. And this one is being put on by the Central Leeward Constituency Division
Totally.
alongside the Central Leeward Young Dems
Say they gone now.
as they announce the big boat ride with Conroy Organs Mix and Mingle 4.0, and it's going to be heading to Myro.
Every time you wake up, you losing another.
So organize your slippers and your shorts
Fight, but they're afraid to open their mouth. Why? 'Cause
and let's get ready to set sail
food up your mouth, stop the corn.
to Myro on board the MV Gemstar. And like I say, tickets are just $80. The boat is going to be leaving Barley at 7 a.m. heading to Kingstown. and then leaving Kingstown at 8 a.m. in the morning. And we set in sail to Myro. It's happening Sunday, July 13th, ladies and gentlemen.
Enough is enough. The people say.
So we call in the entire Central Leeward crew and so much more.
This country in shambles. People can't get work. Young girls on the corner begging for a buck. Why? If you don't believe, come out after 6. Nah. The things you will see on the street, you can't believe it. Enough is enough. The people say they can't now.
And of course, you know, we gotta pick up East St. George, right?
Enough.
I gotta pick up me East St. George crew.
They can't now.
Because we're doing nice things in East St. George too as well. Get ready for the big domino and Pijo competition with our very own Laverne Gibson Velox. And this one is going to be happening June 28th. So we just days away from this one. It's going to be happening in Caliaco Square. And guess what? There are going to be lots and lots of prizes in the domino competition. Bring your crew, bring your team and come. First place is going to be $500. Yes, you heard me right. $500 for the first place in the domino competition. In second place, it's going to be $350, and in third place, you will receive $200. And of course, in the Pijo competition, you can win yourself up to $300 first place, $200 in second place, and $100 in third place. And if you want to register your domino team or your Pijo team, all you got to do is call this number. Write it down. Get a pen and paper. Start. Get ready. Let me go.
Enough is enough.
To register your team in the East St. George Domino and Pijo competition, all you got to do is call this number, 526-2188. That's 526-2188 to register for the massive competition in East St. George. We're going to be doing it nice enough. Hey, we just getting started, enough.
Yes. Don't you be a coward. Just stand up and fight.
So like I say, mark it down on your calendar. Saturday, June 28th, Caliaco Square, East St. George, Domino and Pijo competition with our very own Laverne Gibson Velox, yo.
You want to hear that again? Enough is enough. The people say they gone now. Properly gone. Enough is enough. The people say they gone now. Totally gone. Enough is enough. The people say they gone now. Family gone. Crime situation is out of control. Every time you wake up, you're losing another soul. The people, they're not satisfied, but they're afraid to open their mouth. Why? Because if they say anything, the vaccine food out your mouth. Stop the corner. Enough is enough. The people say.
And of course, while we had to reminding you, be a part of the South Central Windward Big Bingo.
Come, one, two, three.
Lots of prizes to be won. Get yourself some well-earned, deserved cash.
Want to hear that again and again?
And rally with Senator Israel Bruce and the South Central Windward crew in their massive bingo.
This country in shambles.
That's how we doing it tonight.
Young girls on the corner begging for a buck. Why? If you don't believe, come out after 6. Nah.
Hey, so stay with us. We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we will be joined by Chairman of the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Daniel Cummins, will be joining us here on the program today. He's been out for a while, but he's going to be back with us on the program today. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to turn up the tempo on them, because this is the year they're gone enough.
The people say they call now, not another tongue. Leaders of this country, they wicked like hell. Wicked, siding with criminals, posting with cartels. With taxpayers' money, you put on a show. So much people hungry, with no place to go. Enough is enough. The people say they call now. They gone, totally gone. Enough is enough. The people say they call now. Enough is enough. The people say they call now. family come. Enough is enough. The people say they gone now.
This one's for country. Get ready as the NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division. So we're heading to Abundance Bar at Long Beach, North Union on Saturday, 28th June for a big karaoke and bingo. For bingo will be 4 games of $100 each with a jackpot of $1,000. Tickets only $5. Starting time 9 p.m. So come sing the night away and win some big money for Carnival. As NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division brings to you karaoke and bingo on Saturday, 28th June in Long Beach, North Union at Amanda's Bar. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
Please note that the ticket for the jackpot is $10.
Central Leeward, get ready to turn up the vibe. It's the Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Myro. It's happening Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar. Come live and rally with your representative, Conroy Huggins. Meet the man with the plan, the vibes, and the vision for Central Leeward. Tickets are only $80. And this one is selling off fast. We leave Barrowly at 7 a.m., Kingstown at 8 a.m., and it's all presented by the Central Leeward Young Dems and the NDP Central Leeward Division. It's mix, mingle, and move with the mission. The future is now. Let's ride with Huggins in this massive Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Myro on Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar. Yes, indeed. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the New Times program. And like I say, it is a Tuesday here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and normally on a Tuesday, we're joined by the chairman of the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Daniel Cummins. He's also the elected representative for the constituency of West Kingston. He joins us here, as always, on a Tuesday. He's been out for a while, but he's going to be back again here with us on the program today. So until he joins us, ladies and gentlemen, we remind you to stay with us here on the New Times program today. We are in the heart of the carnival season, ladies and gentlemen. And so much is happening, so much is going on. And of course, we're going to be keeping you up to date and up to breast with all of them, especially from the position of the New Democratic Party. In the meantime, let me find something to drop on you for the carnival season so far, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the songs that are making some of the stir. And let's do this one from Madzad. It's called The Gravy Train. We don't know how that one going. Turning up this morning. NDP, we in the house.
This election, I don't care who call me to face. I campaigning to get a gravy train space. I out in my red, I even painting the street. Hotting up the head of some them Calypsonians and meat. And bitch, tell me who put me soul on dead already. It's we make them wicked pirates have the train hijack. I making him laugh. I must be accommodate. Give him 6 reasons why we should vote them back. I say reason number 1. If you see me, us in the brain, I can't find a reason. I feel shame. But you know the conductor will love to explain. It's 24 years, he conducting the train. Happy jobs, if I borrow them fellas' brain. They riding high, and we can't sustain. He said, and I quote, if you put them back there again, no more gravy left on the gravy train. Some the horn, cho-cho. Some the horn, cho-cho. Oh, Ebony call me bandit, well that nearly start a brawl. I put many train for more, and he have nothing at all. Ma, she tell me sit down and wait, we can't afford that. Things so hard in this place, woman selling cat. Then Zion I say, the conductor raping the country. They mash up the land, and all of them pocket fat. He's so brave, he gon' kill them politically. The train full of hypocrites, why he should vote them back? I say, reason number 2. If you see me, us in the brain, I can't find 2 reasons. I feel shame. I tell them after this runs, the conductor son go rain. Like all your asses are sabo, touch the train. Patches said the kingdom must come down when the bell ring. He never see more mess, they have no shame. He said, and I quote, Father and Son is the same. No damn gravy left on the gravy train. Song the horn, choo-choo. Song the horn is choo-choo. Oh.
So again, let me say good morning to each and every one of you. Hey, pressure on the gravy train. Pressure on the gravy train.
Age tell me if I didn't know. It's now a comedy country run by a papi show. He say on the train, them fellas smoking too.
All of a sudden, they're trying to fix everything across the country. Elections in the air, man. And the same man who put the teachers and them out of a walker. All of a sudden, he tongue change. Like a real serpent. He sang in the song, you know, hey, you could come back to your walker. Because why? Election in the air, all of a sudden, you want votes again.
I can't find 3 reasons. Shame a kill me. But you know Silver Fox don't plan the game to convince you to vote because on again.
You're mad.
People say bear your grind is more labor pain. CP said too much pressure. Christmas not the same. He said and I quote while the conductor paragon. No flipping gravy left on the gravy train.
Watch Bacchanal.
Song the horn.
You know, man, when I tell all you ready, you know.
Song the horn.
This is it. This is the year.
Yes, true.
And we got them running scared.
Come again. And, song the horn. Choo-choo. I say, song the horn.
It's true. And I understand when it is nice, you gotta do it twice. So let's put this one on repeat again this morning. Let me say good morning. Good morning, Maria Kwa. Let me say good morning to Millie. Hey!
This election, I don't care who called me to face. I campaigning to get a gravy train space. I out in my red, I even painting the street. Hotting up the head of some them Calypsonians and meat. And bitch tell me who put me soul on dead already. It's we make them wicked pirates have the train hijack. I making him laugh. I must be a comedy. Give him 6 reasons why we should vote them back. I say reason number 1. If you see me,
And then, you know, when I step in,
I can't find a
I done flip the switch, you know.
I feel it.
I'm in election mode.
But you know the conductor will love to explain.
And I ain't come with no more nice talks.
Oh, yes.
It's bare bonfire right now and get your energy up because soon as carnival done,
Borrow them fellas
we rolling out with we voting finger.
high. And we can't sustain.
And are ready to dip it in the ink. All the way, deep, right down to the bottom.
No more gravy left on the gravy train. Song the horn. Choo-choo. Song the horn. Choo-choo. Ooh.
And then, man, I really had a laugh, you know, because if all you really pay close attention to what is going on in this country, you will know.
Call me bandit. Well, that nearly start a brawl. I bomb many trains.
Because even the news and the movement on social media will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that these guys so desperate, they're not just trying to buy your vote with some plantain, you know. But the same vaccine mandate that put teachers out of a job, you mean to tell me that all of a sudden now they're talking about, oh, well, we're going to put legislation in place to make sure that the teachers and them get back their work and this and that. Hey, when I tell you it is laughable, ladies and gentlemen, because this is nothing more than just another ploy by this Unity Labour Party government led by Ralph Gonzalez to try and mama guy people to make them say, oh, you see how we love you? We fire you from your work on. We make you lose your job. But hey, we love you, so guess what? You could come back to your work now. Now that it is close to the election, you could come back for your work now. You're mad. Hey, don't let it fool you, you know.
They have no shame. He said and I could.
No shame.
Father and son is the same. No damn gravy left on the gravy train.
Hey, we turning over the whole gravy train this year. Because we getting rid of all of them. And if you're with me on election day, let we go.
The man age tell me, if I mean no, it's now a comedy country run by a papi show. He say on the train,
bake lungs.
Smoking too. And you got to show your party card to get that token. Well, those I want to know. Wait to them. He wonder, is it cooking by the door? Cause the train running off track. And since he did not leave him out inside the mama, all he want to know is when cartel coming back. I say, reason number 3.
And all of a sudden, they're fixing up everything across this country. But they won't make it so many days carnival, so we have visitors coming in, thing nice in the country, so we're trying to fix it up and spruce it up. It's more road work than anything else. All you got all your planting. Planting for votes.
He said too much pressure, Christmas not the same. He said and I quote, while the conductor paragon. No flipping gravy left on the gravy train.
That's why we gotta bun them out.
Song the horn.
Every single one of them got to go.
Song the horn. Yes, true. Come again. Song the horn. True. I say, song the horn.
And once again, they come in Parliament. And it's a whole heap of lies in Parliament. But we're going to hold them accountable because guess what? Whether they want to admit it, yes or no, we know that this country is going through some serious financial times.
This election.
And that is why we got to get rid of all of them.
You see, we Vinci. What? You see, we're not voting you will be again. Never. They want everything for themselves.
You know, like I say, watch Bacchanal in this country soon as Carnival done. We ready for them, you know?
People, let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I don't like how labor moving. Every time they have all the big meeting, only my big money they spending, put them alone. While things in the country getting rough, poor people not making enough. I am appealing to every Vinci. Don't make Labour Party come by. Don't let them come. Things in SVG getting too hard.
Run you will be out of your yard.
This government treating me too bad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
Before the lack of work drive me mad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
When the children cry, we don't get real.
Run you will be out of your yard.
How you run them? All
out of your yard.
I run them. All
out of your yard.
I run them.
Out of your yard.
Run your LP.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
How you run them?
Out of your yard.
Run your LP.
Out of your yard.
Vinci people losing their mind. Things real rough. Things getting harder all the time. Harder. Poor people can't maintain their home. No. So many people struggling alone. It's pressure. Things in the country keep getting dreaded. We keep fighting for daily bread. Year after year is hard to campaign. We can't take another 5 years again. No. Things in SVG getting too hard.
Run you will be out of your yard.
This government treated me too bad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
Before the lack of work drive me mad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
When the children cry, we just get real sad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
I want to run them.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
I want to run them.
Out of your yard.
Run your LP.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
I want to run.
Yeah. And if you're ready for whip, if you're ready like you're ready with me, to get rid of them.
Yes. We can't take this no more. It's time for them to go.
If you're ready like me to get rid of them, and we represent this morning, ladies and gentlemen. All the constituencies fall in this morning. Let me go.
Run them. Well, the government just don't care. They don't care. They want to keep us living in fear. That's all they want in the country. Every time you go and protest, there's a problem. Labor police, they come and make an arrest. Yes. When Before the lack of work drive me mad. Run ULP out of your yard. When the children cry, we that get real. Run ULP out of your yard. I run them out of your yard. I run them out of your yard. I run them out of your yard. Run ULP out of your yard. Run them out of your yard. Run them out of your yard. I run them from out of your yard. Run ULP out of your yard.
So we got 16 minutes after the 11 o'clock hour. And we're going strong with them this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, like I said, I've been saying, we're heading into the carnival season. For those of you who's going to be taking parts in the carnival festivities and action, I want to encourage you to go out, enjoy yourself, have a good time, support the festival, and all of that. But then after carnival, we get back grounded and we get back serious. And we prepare ourselves for what is inevitable. Elections in this country. Already speculations are ripe as to just when the man is going to call the general elections in this country. I have my own predictions. I could be wrong, so don't hold me to task by it. But I feel he's going to want to make one big last grandstand for independence. I will be surprised if he called it before then, because this is going to be the last chance for him to really grandstand and pamperset himself, as they would say, and try to offer all sorts of goodies for Vincentians just before the general elections, or just before he calls the general elections in this country. Folks, we can already see it. We can already see what he is up to, and what many of them on his side is up to in the various constituencies. All of a sudden, works that have been lingering for years is now all of a sudden being done. We're seeing road works here. We're seeing they're trying to fix up this and fix up that. And what is laughable for me more than all of them is the most recent one. When Vincentians were in their bed, sleeping, these guys went into Parliament, the heart of the COVID pandemic, and passed legislation that would inevitably hurt persons in this country, whether it be teachers, police officers, public servants in this country. Many wanted to chastise the unions and the New Democratic Party for joining the unions in demonstrations and protests in this country, that came out and said no, and warned Vincentians as to what this legislation, this vaccine mandate was going to do to the lives of Vincentians in this country, public servants. The hypocrisy of it is that the same man that we have here, that was pushing the vaccine mandate, recently now praising public servants and have all kind of wonderful and great things to say about public servants. And even saying, well, we're going to put legislation in place or whatever, we're going to do this and we're going to do that to make sure that public servants get back their work, and those of you who were fired because of the vaccine mandate could come back now and get your work. Can you imagine this, ladies and gentlemen? We have a caller on the line. Caller, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, even the raising of the Sokomon Act to $60,000, I think that's even a part of the political law.
Don't even get me started on carnival, because it's a bittersweet for me for this carnival. But don't even get me started on that. I specifically didn't want to touch on carnival or talk anything about carnival, even though that we are in the heart of the carnival season, because it ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna be pretty. But I see.
Are you able to say why it's bittersweet?
Yeah, because on one hand, I like some of the things that I am seeing, right? Some new incentives or new initiatives being put in place or whatever. And like I said, it's going to be a double-edged sword, because it's going to be it can cut both ways. But at the end of it, at the same time, we're seeing all of these things because we know that we are in an election year. Some of these things, why they wasn't done all the years, Why all of a sudden now? Why certain people taking over now? While I'm glad that certain people are coming and bringing fresh ideas, it's a double-edged sword for me. But what I want to say is just this, and I'm going to just say one simple, brief statement on that. Because if I really go in deep in that as a rabbit hole, I would just say this. We need to learn when it comes to our nation's premier festival, which is Carnival. We need to learn to keep the politics and the political biasness out of the festival and allow it to be the freedom of expression that it incorporates or that it is supposed to be or intended to be, and not one where it is stifling some and not allowing all the opportunity, both young and old, veterans, or whatever you want to call them, to allow themselves to express their creativity in a fashion that helps to build and promote the festival without using politics and political bias and favoritism, right, to stifle the whole overall festival. And it goes right across the line. It ain't specific to Pan, Mass, Calypso, or whatever, or the beauty show. It right across the board. I have a serious problem with that.
Yeah, everything from crime to the where you say you could volunteer in your community and get some money for that. Everything for giving farmers money and fisher folks money. Everything you see that they come up with, to the legislation, to
bias, everything
to the teachers, and I think they're gonna raise public. They always do that coming election time.
Mm-hmm.
Raise the public assistance. They raise the fees and that. They raise the money that they pay out. That too. So everything you see that he do, everything.
Yeah.
It try to get everybody from all sectors.
Exactly. Everything is going to be on show. Everything is going to be on display. Everything is going to be, to try and, like I say, pixie dust, fairy tales. Tinkerbell in Peter Pan, how she just spread the little pinky dusty fairy tale dust or whatever, and try to mesmerize people. That's what they're going to be busy with this year during the carnival. And after the carnival, they've been trying that all year long to try and mesmerize people, hoodwink them.
So things nice for the next 6 months.
Yeah, man. Thing nice. Thing real nice. But guess what? People still catching in this country.
All right. Later.
All right, my brother. Take it easy. That's why I say, let us not be fooled. Let us not be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. We know exactly what's up.
This election, I don't care who call me to face. I campaigning to get a gravy trade space. I out in my red, I even painting the street. Hotting up the head of some them Calypsonians and meat. And bitch tell me who put me so down dead already. Is we make them wicked pirates have the train hijack. I'm making them laugh. I must be accommodated.
Clearly, there's only some that are poised to benefit as they've always been benefiting in this country. That's why Madzad had to sing by Gravy Train, and you know exactly what he's singing about and what he's talking about. The Gravy Train, that is the ULP Gravy Train in this country, is the reason why there are some fighting tooth and nail to try and secure another victory for the Unity Labour Party at the polls. Because once that gravy train for them cut, that's it. Only some benefiting. Only some can open new businesses in this country, while others struggle. Many small businesses in this country and young entrepreneurs can't seem to get a good start in this country. We have another call. Let's see who we have. Caller, hello, welcome to the program.
Calling morning.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I am good for the time being. And you?
95 degrees calling.
Oh, man. Sound good to me.
I right up underneath the aircon, and plus I have got to work in the next hour. So,
oh, boy. So, it's hot.
It's hot. It's hot here, and it's hot at home.
I'm telling you.
Let me just, I think my husband told me, my mother-in-law, call and say Woods died, and I just want to send condolences to Taylor Woods. You know, back in the day, man, he was my tailor for my kids, you know, for my sons. Really nice guy, really pleasant, quiet guy, and I'm really, really sorry that this is the way. And you know, all the time he's been a real soldier. So I just want to send condolences to Woods' family in Calico Days.
All right.
And also, I want to, you know, it's really bittersweet, you know, because sometimes you just don't know if you really want to go down that road. Because then, and that's the reason they do it there. So let me congratulate Patches. I saw it, I think, a couple hours ago that they were going to honor him. You know, sometimes if you don't laugh, you know, you can cry.
I'm telling you. I am telling you.
If you don't laugh,
you know, let me tell you. You see, I boy.
You're just between a rock and a hard place.
Let
when
me
you really want to say what you want to say.
Yes. I have
and
changed.
Anything being that you're hypocritical
No.
Anything. You just, because on one hand, it will look like, you know, everything for people is haters. You're hating.
Yes, exactly.
But I called you last week, because this might be a choosy thing once you are. I called you last week and I talk about the agent. And I always say, you know, the upholder is really worse than the thief. Everything is so well orchestrated by the ULPA. It is so frightening.
Yep. And if we it is so subtle if you really pay close attention to it.
It's not subtle. Let me tell you why I believe it's not subtle.
Or maybe some people just naive and they just don't want to see it for what it is.
Yeah, I gotta be careful because this 95 degrees up here show me what hell could be like. So I have to choose my words carefully.
Or you so show hell hot and it ain't cool.
I don't know, man. From what is being said for donkeys a years, hell is hot. So let me try and keep it brief and respectful.
Okay.
So they put this guy now because they had him moving him from this and that. He was in charge of the pan against crime. I just can't keep up with ULP. You gotta see the players. It's like a chessboard. You gotta see the players on this chessboard and how they are being moved to manipulate the system. That is the ULP in St. Vincent. Look at the movers and the shakers in St. Vincent. Look at them. I could name them. Who are now big promoters, top 2 and 3, and I don't care. I don't care who they are. The rest of St. Vincent suffering, and I asked the other day, and I asked the question, how does it feel when you see people who you know are agents and supporters, and not just supporters, they are agents of that government. How do Vincentians feel when they see them moving and shaking and they're still in the damn position, shaking with hunger? How do they feel? I want to know. How do you feel when you see people, the same people, there is no change, Colin. There is no change. The same people opening up place. And yes, you're going to say because the other agent of the ULP is the API. So if you look on there, because I have all them on my page, you know. I have Mal and Bob, I have Star Radio, and I just be under them. Because let me tell you, I don't have no time with the believers or the NDP. We here, we know what it is. I ain't fear them. I just go under the page. Who just tell me all kind of thing, this all kind of cut them out that, yeah? And like I say, hell is not my place. So I just leave them alone. But look at the agents. Look at them. Look at how they're prospering. Look at how they're so boisterous. I tell you last week, look at how they're doing things so free. Look at how in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, now the Ministry of Finance. I'm like, what is going on? And now you put this token in Rodney Small and throw it at everybody like a kid in a candy shop. It's a token. It was placed there for this exact reason. Nothing is of his doing. Nothing that is being done is independent of Rodney Small's thought and thinking. It is not. It is a play. There are players on the chessboard and on the stage, and they are being moved and taught how to do it. It is not of their own being. And we continue to get dragged in. So if we talk about them, I see somebody saying, so what about Razam? So what about, but that is what they expect us to do. They expect us to do that. You understand? To say there's somebody better than Patches, to honor.
Right.
And then when we go, we look like haters. Or we don't want to see, are we pulling down the country?
Yep.
Are we pulling down Patches or whatever?
Yep.
That is the plan.
Yep.
So they want us to keep still. But I'm keeping still. I congratulate Patches because I know because of Patches, they had Barbara. I see Barbara being taught in some schools down in the South. And I think I posted sometime. Where is it in St. Vincent?
Yep.
What did they do to him? Where is it? Did he get any support to keep the culture?
Like I say, when we, and you see, boy, you're storing up things inside of me that I want to really lament on, because when we talk about culture and preserving our culture in this country, how many persons really feel that we have been preserving our culture over the years or selling out to an imitation from others, right? Or a replication of others? Because we had Monkey Band, we had a vibrant Juve, right? That was rooted in culture, in tradition, that is almost, if not non-extinct now in our whole carnival, right? And we want to idolize when we look at Grenada and its jab jab, and idolize that and say, oh, because Grenada realized how to hold on to their unique identity and their culture. We had that here in St. We had that here in St. Vincent. The same jab jab that they playing, we had it here in St. Vincent. Juve morning, it was Monkey Band. It was part of our tradition.
Not even that. Let me tell
Where
you
is that to this day? Dead.
I had a fair for them people. They want, they smell awful. And I used to suck, let me tell you, so I used to suck my finger. And one time my grandmother told me, God rest her soul, she said, look, when you see these people come, because they used to come through your neighborhood, they never used to just be in Kingston, they used to come through your neighborhood. She said, when you see them come through here, I carry you right out there and put your finger in the mouth. 2 times she threatened me with that finger thing, with them, and a man named Mr. Jack with it dead next to me. And I tell you, I stopped sucking my finger the second time.
Yeah.
I had a faith for them, but there was something that I was accustomed to. I was telling my uncle, my grandmother used to pack up Tuesday morning early, and it gone on top of park with all kind of food. The only thing I used to go down them steps there for was snow cone. The amount of things in park, maypole, nothing is preserved, nothing. But they're coming now and show this token to us that is being moved by all of them. And we might have to look at the players. I keep saying every time I come, y'all look at the players and see what they have that you don't have, and what ideas they have that you don't have, and what ideas are being nourished. And are you look at that young girl that sing that little Lexi. I told my husband I knew who they were going to pick, From the late man's son to I know all of them because I just pay attention. Let's watch them, You have to watch them because they're dangerous. They are worse than the ULP.
And you
because
see,
their thing is to keep them there so they could survive.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the festival itself and the freedom of expression in the festival is what gets stifles or what gets kills off in all of this.
Before I go, I did miss it. Did they raise so come on after I heard the last call? I didn't hear him in a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything officially.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything officially. I don't know if that is so I will have to wait and see. But I personally haven't seen anything officially, so I don't know. Maybe I missed it.
Also, again, let me congratulate Patches on your well-deserved honoring for this carnival. They had somebody else. What's who? Patches and somebody. I can't remember who it was now. It's 2 people. I see they say they're honoring this year. But Colin, we gotta be careful,
We gotta be wise.
I'm not gonna talk about anything else, but
we gotta be wise in these times.
What he does, because he says the same teacher them that he fired will vote for him again. People just I don't know. I pray. I just pray every day. Because let me tell you, it's only God could change Vincentian's mind. I'm telling you. I am at that point, right? Because he knows what he does. You know how you could blatantly go and give somebody that had 10 establishments already to put a restaurant next door and talk about the biggest entrepreneur. How did he come, sir? I don't know, give me a break here. And let me go get myself ready to go work. I can talk to you next Tuesday if you're on.
All right,
that's carnival time?
I believe so.
All right, you enjoy the festival.
You too. All right, take care. I think I have a caller on the line. Caller, hello.
Yeah, morning, Colin.
Good day. How are you, man?
Yeah, I just called to pick up Michelle. I don't know her, but I just love to hear her on the radio.
A realist, eh?
And the lady there, not Michelle, her name is?
Yeah, a realist.
Yeah, man, I just love to hear her. So let her tell her I say call more often, man. You know?
All right.
Okay, then.
All right.
Take care.
All right. I don't call us on like you might have a crush there, but I understand where you're coming from. Folks, like I said, we killing time until the Honorable Daniel Cummins joins us here on the program. And all you give me an itch there that I want to scratch, you know. God knows I want to scratch that itch. This so bad this morning. But let me take another call. Let me see who we have. Caller, hello, welcome to the program.
Well, it's me, Colin. Good morning to you, my brother.
What's going on? Welcome.
You know, every time I hear Michelle, and I'm sorry that caller beat it to it, but he did. You know what I mean? Anytime I hear Michelle, trust me, it really, really prompts me to want to say and do things more. Eh? No, you see everybody going crazy about this thing with Randy, Randy, however his name, Small, becoming the CEO. I'm not a carnival crazy person, but you know, it's a part of our culture, and I do follow it. And I am and this is what I've been saying all along. I thought it's me alone was thinking that way. Anything at all I see, ULP does. And you see, when they put Rodney there, Rodney's place there. As one of the, what else call those things, one of these, whether it's a draft or chess.
A pawn.
A pawn, exactly. That is exactly
what you're looking for.
He's not doing nothing different than what he was said there. And has been coached to do. So my brother, don't let Vincent get too carried away with that, because I know how this man believe. I strongly believe I know how this man thinks.
All really scratching that itch for me, you know, man.
I'm telling you, no, but Colin, my brother, if Vincent sit down and think about how this man was able to get into office, this man should be charged for treason. This is a fact. That's the reason why I tell you he cannot hold a man like me. Bigger bigs. Let me say who I am now. Bigger bigs. He can't trick me. He was able to trick down to judges in this whole entire wall. Down to judges, he was able to trick. Not me bigger. Sorry, Colin. Right. I just love when I hear you on the program, my brother.
Thank you.
And I am with Michelle. Call back every time, Michelle. That means I will be listening with you now, Michelle.
Right. Take it easy.
You are sit for the you are on point, Michelle. Have a wonderful day, my brother. Take care, bye-bye.
Thank you. Ena, look, for those of you who would have known me and would have followed me over the years in my career in media and radio and broadcasting, all you know, I was in it. I was all up in it. From hosting Miss SPG pageants, from hosting Soca Monarch, from working with Rootsman, you know, to build Soca Monarch and all of these things, being actively involved with Nelson Block over the years and all of that. I have a deep love and respect and appreciation for our premier festival, which is Carnival. I mean, over the years, I have diverted and I have shifted my whole life in a different direction. But part of me still loves the festival and the art form and all its components for what it is and what it offers and what it brings and how it can contribute significantly to the overall development economically to our country. But when we continue to play the ass with mass, excuse my French, but it's the only way I could have put it together nicely. When we start to play the mass with carnival, right? It irks me. It really hurts me. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against Rodney Small. Absolutely nothing. Personal. I think he's a nice guy. He's a cool guy. But like some would say, right, maybe it's being used as a pawn strategically now, especially this time, this particular year, as we getting ready to head into a general elections. So some would say that he is being used as a pawn to bring fresh, new strategic ideas to boost the carnival and the festival and to make it look good as we head into carnival. Now, like I say, it's really bittersweet for me because I applaud some of the new initiatives that I am seeing. Because clearly, for me, carnival needs some new blood, some fresh new ideas. But for me, the bottom line is this. The bottom line for me is this. Until we take politics, and they will want to say, well, Colin, just exactly what you're talking about is part of the reason why there is always so much division and there's always so much politics in the carnival, because we take in the carnival and make politics with it. Because that will be their argument. Oh, I have a problem with everything and everybody and all of that. But like Michelle would just call, there are people who are seeing it because they're not wearing the rose-colored glasses or shades. They're not drinking the red Kool-Aid, but they can see it for what it is. And when there are individuals in the carnival, in pan, mass, calypso, all the components who are being overlooked, underrated, passed over because of their perceived affiliation or because they're not singing the Sankey that the ULP wants them to sing, because they're not jumping through the hoops, because they're not painting the bright and rosy picture that the government wants them to paint of what the real reality is in this country, they are overlooked. They are sidelined. They are blacklisted. Hence the reason why I say, when it comes to carnival, I don't care whether it's ULP, NDP, whatever party, leave the politics out of the carnival. But they can say, but Colin, you on an NDP program, you supporting the NDP, and the position you pushing is because it's a political one. But I will say again, until we take the politics and the personal bias out of carnival, we will never have a fair and credible competition across the board. Right across the board. Because every year is the same old story. Talented artists are overlooked, while the ones who sing, they are overlooked because of the ones who sing the sweet song of the powers that be. So yes, that's what has happened. Talented artists are overlooked, while the ones who sing sweet for the powers that be, they are the ones that get the spotlight. Judges who have clear political bias or perceived political affiliation or ties to the ruling Labour Party, they should have absolutely no place in deciding the outcome of our cultural showcases. Look, let us face it. It is time for us to remove all perceived political and biased judges. Like I say, perceived. Because someone will say, oh, but the judges in them ain't biased, or the judges in them ain't have no political affiliation. They are all people who are quite skilled and qualified in their fields or whatever. But let us face it. Let us not be naive. Let us not be naive. So if we have to remove all perceived political and biased judges and replace them with people who are actually competent, fair, and objective, then judges who rate performance, let me get judges who rate performances based on real talent, lyrical strength, vocal ability, stage presence, and creativity, and all of these things. Because Carnival is supposed to be a celebration of freedom of expression. But how free are we if politics continues to control and dictate who gets in and who ain't getting in? Let the art form speak for itself. Let the best win, regardless of who they support or criticize. That is the only way that we will preserve the overall integrity of our culture. That is what it has to be. So, If all you want to hate the messenger, fine, but don't hate the message. It is what it is, and we have to be real when it comes to the festival. Because when there are persons there, like Madzad say, who apparently is on the gravy train, wanting to call the shots and wield their influence and their political influence into suggesting who should go forward and who shouldn't go forward. And we see on the platform a whole bunch of faces that we will see on the campaign trail singing for the Unity Labour Party. Then one really has to question the integrity of our judges and the criteria in which they choose to judge a lot of our competitions. Like I say, don't get tricked, because the same thing that's happened for Miss SVG, the same thing that's happened for Road March, the same thing that's happened on the Road Carnival Tuesday in terms of which mass band going to get this and which mass band ain't going to get that. I could speak because I was involved in it. I know the politics that was going on backstage. I know the politics that was going on backstage from the very moment the Carnival Development Corporation took over, Bum Russian took over the Soca Monarch competition. When certain individuals were backstage and telling me what to go on stage and say as the MC, and if I don't say this and if I don't say that, and who should get picked and who shouldn't get picked. And I turn around and say, well, if that is how all you're going to run Soca Monarch, I don't want anything more to do with it. And to this day, the CDC can't pay me for how many shows I MC'd, still outstanding. But guess what? All you could keep the money, I don't want it. I could speak. I could speak as how there are many persons who try to influence the outcome of Carnival and the many shows that they have during Carnival and the results, so that the results can favor a certain set of people and influence the minds of the masses in this country. Because soon as Carnival done, you will see a lot of these same faces and a lot of these same names and a lot of these same individuals pushing the agenda and campaigning strong for the gravy train. All they really wanted me to scratch that itch this morning. I wasn't going there. And I still ain't going there. Because that is all I have to say on that. And until we can change this government, until we can really and truly change things in this country, then no amount of fancy dressing that we try to put on and all of these things that we're putting on is not going to change until we make some serious, deep, hard, fundamental changes in the festival itself. We have a caller. Caller, hello, welcome to the program.
Colin.
Oi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let me tell you, I'm not poor about that come out of you. Louise Millington, Eddie Millington, we used to sell push in the market, and the sister down in the tongue cans. Them finally use them holding tongue. Yes? So when the talk about my poor come out of you, Louise Millington is the one who came me holding tongue. Eddie Millington, we used to sell fish in the market, his brother. And tongue cans, this is you. Right?
Alright.
That was their family. That was so family from you. And them talk again. What about the you took an Indian mask? A plain tongue.
Yeah, we used to have all of that. Yeah, we used to have all of that.
Oh boy.
All of that, all of that. Monkey man, yeah, all of that.
All them masks,
Alright.
get to them out.
We have another call. We have another
To
call.
bring the crowd.
All right, we have another call. So let me take. All right, we have another call. Let me take another call quickly. Let's see who we have. Caller, hello, welcome to the program. Yes, caller, hello, you're live. All right, wait, let me try that again. I think I had the wrong line. Yes, caller, hello.
Hi, good morning, Colin.
Yes, man. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Do not want to deviate from the current topic that you're speaking.
No, we could go because I don't want to scratch that itch no more. You could just get me more and more upset.
This is what I call political psoriasis. You know, it's a political skin condition. If you scratch it too much, it gets worse.
Yeah, just get. I agree. Tell me.
Anyway, I think when you started, you were speaking of what many in the ULP would refer to or would point to as an overt act of political altruism, where this man seems as if, in a benevolent fashion, he's coming to save the workers and their benefits.
Yeah.
You know, we have to see this for what it is. And we have to call out this man for his quasi-Jehovah complex. You know, he wants to be the savior.
Yes.
He thinks that he's the political godhead in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But let's lay the cards on the table. Let's bring a dose of reality to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is a solution to a problem of his own making.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
You know, I was thinking about this thing over the weekend, and I said, you know, this is a situation similar to an arsonist lighting a fire and then volunteering to go out that fire. The level of suffering that these dismissed workers went through.
It's deep.
It's deep.
And
it's
his way of thinking and dealing with it is quite revealing at the same time. It's deep.
It is deep.
It's like I run you.
And this is something.
I run you.
Something that can never be erased.
Yeah. I run you. I run you out the house, and I run you.
Yes.
Force you out the house.
Yes.
But now because I want you to side with me. Now because I want you to side with me, I inviting you back in now to come and eat with me again.
Expediency, because
so I must forget that you run me. I must forget that you put me out there in the rain.
Exactly.
And come back now because you say, oh, come man, come eat food with me.
That's right.
Even dog does remember when you treat them bad enough.
Of course.
Okay then.
Of course. And you know, let us frame this in the proper way. 2025 is not an ordinary year.
No.
Right? No. So the question then becomes, why wasn't this done 2024, 2023? Because 2025, he looks at it as some sort of signature year for him. This is the opportunity for him to get a sixth term. And he's doing everything and anything necessary to secure that sixth term. But we who have a voice, we need to call what is happening out and present it to the people in a factual, in a reasonable manner. And you know, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are not naive. They are not dumb. They think that they are, right? Because you want to appear to be benevolent. Why wasn't you benevolent 2-3 years ago? Why, when everyone was calling for you to end the case and rehire the teachers and the other dismissed workers, you stood on your soapbox?
Yeah, you were still looking for blood.
You were still looking for blood. And up to recently, you know, I wrote something about this, you know, in one of our group chats. I said, up to recently, he was celebrating the fact that the appeals court vindicated him.
Yeah. I get a win.
Right?
I get a win. And you see?
But now, because of political expediency, the very same benefits that the appeals court wrongly denied these people, you want to go into parliament to codify those benefits and protect them. You see, the megalomania of this guy is it's.
But you know what's the beauty in that is that the NDP don't need to go to parliament to pass any legislation for them to get back their work.
No, and we have to drive that point home.
Yep.
We don't have to create a political spectacle. We don't have to do it
exactly
of a political theater.
Yeah.
We are just going to do it because it's the right damn thing to do.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So let's carry this message. Let the New Democratic Party. There's not going to be any political theater. There's not going to be actions, moral, ethical actions based on political expediency. We are going to do the right thing and do the right thing and do the thing right. Hire these people back, restore them to where they were in as expedient a manner as possible. That is the right thing to do. That is the moral thing to do. No political theater, no performative politics. That is what they would be electing the New Democratic Party to do, and we're going to do it without hesitation. Thank you, Colin. Blessings.
Thank you. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's take the commercial break. And when we come back, we're joined live in the studio by the Honorable Daniel Cummins. Stay with us.
This one's for country. Get ready as the NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division. So we're heading to Abbotsford at Young Peace, North Union on Saturday, 28th June for a big karaoke and bingo. For bingo will be 4 games of $100 each with a jackpot of $1,000. Tickets only $5. Starting time 9 p.m. So come sing the night away and win some big money for Carnival. As NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division brings to you karaoke and bingo on Saturday, 28th June in Long Beach, North Union at Amanda's Bar. Get ready.
Please note that the ticket for the jackpot is $10.
Central Leeward, get ready to turn up the vibes. It's the Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Miro. It's happening Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar. Come live and rally with your representative, Conroy Huggins. Meet the man with the plan, the vibes, and the vision for Central Leeward. Tickets are only $80. And this one is selling off fast. We leave Barley at 7 a.m., Kingstown at 8 a.m., and it's all presented by the Central Leeward Young Dems and the NDP Central Leeward Division. It's mix, mingle, and move with the mission. The future is now. Let's ride with Huggins in this massive Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Miro on Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar.
This election, I want to tell you one thing. You see, we Vinci, what? You see, we not voting ULP again. Never. They want everything for themselves. Everything. They acting like SPG is theirs. But SPG belongs to we. But it's ours. People, let me tell you something. Let me tell you. I don't like how Labour moving. Every time they have all the big meetings. Only for big money they spending, put them alone. While things in the country getting rough, poor people not making enough. I am appealing to every Vinci. Don't make Labour Party come by. Don't let them come. Things in SVG getting too hard.
Run you will be out of your yard.
This government treating me too bad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
Before the lack of work driving man.
Run you will be out of your yard.
When the children cry, we don't get real.
Run you will be out of your yard.
How you run them? All
out of your yard.
Run them. All
out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
Run your LP.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
How you run them?
Out of your yard.
Run your LP.
Out of your yard.
Vinci people losing their mind. Things really wrong. Things getting harder all the time. Harder. Poor people can't maintain their home. No. So many people struggling alone. It's pressure. Things in the country keep getting dread. We keep fighting for daily bread. Year after year is hard to campaign. We can't take another 5 years again. No. Things in SBG getting hard.
Run you will be out of your yard.
This government treated me too bad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
Before the lack of work driving man.
Run you will be out of your yard.
When the children cry, we just get real sad.
Run you will be out of your yard.
I want to run them.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
I want to run them.
Out of your yard.
Run your LP.
Out of your yard.
Run them.
Out of your yard.
I want to LB out of your yard. Yes, we can't take this no more. It's time for them to go. It's pressure. Run them, real pressure. You know when you want to run them, Lee, want to run them, Kingston, run them, Nespo, run them, Sinjar, run them, Grenadier, run them, run them. Well, the government just don't care. They don't care. They want to keep us living in fear. That's how they run in the country. Every time you go and protest, there's a problem. Labour police, they come and make an arrest. Yes. When they violate and we try fight, only looking for justice and right. When we talk, they tell us, shut up, sending the police to lock we up.
Welcome back. 2 minutes after the 12 o'clock hour, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you back to the studio of course, Nice Radio. And joining us live in the studio, we now welcome the chairman of the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Daniel Cummins, joins us here in the studio. Mr. Chairman, good morning. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Good morning, Colin. Morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's been a while I haven't been in the studio. And of course, I was out of country for a couple of weeks in Trinidad on some urgent matters. Glad to be back. Glad to be on the program.
And as always, it's a pleasure having you here with us on the New Times program. I mean, a lot has been going on. A lot continues to happen as we prepare for elections in this country. Parliament. Let's start there. Parliament, of course, the sitting of Parliament was yesterday. Just for the benefit of our listeners and for those who continue to follow the New Democratic Party and for those who may have missed the gist as to what transpired in Parliament yesterday, bring us up to speed.
Well, Colin, actually, the main focus on Parliament yesterday was the 22 or 23 questions posed by the New Democratic Party to what passes for government in this country. We are allowed to field 3 questions per representative and or senator, and our question slate had the government reeling to find answers truthfully. And this is part of the big problems with questions in Parliament. This is a government that is known to lie to its teeth. They watch you and lie unashamedly. And it's something that must be corrected in our Parliament. And when the NDP gets into government, this will take effect, because you are not allowed to speak on truth in the Parliament for a very simple reason. It is when the government speaks, it speaks with a level of authority, and people have to be able to take the government's word for what it is. But we know from experience that this is a very deep lying government. If you go back to Dr. Slater on the question of whether St. Vincent was shut out from the OECS pharmaceutical supplies because they didn't pay for the medicines. They eat all fire. They said, come in here, no, we talking about you lie. The speaker had me sit down 3 times and had the audacity to tell me if I want information, I must go and ask the Minister of Health. Only when I pulled out the letter from the very ministry, which was copied to the minister, the permanent secretary, and everybody, which Dr. Slater knew of, which the government was keenly aware of. Only when I pulled that letter out of my pocket, all of them mouth dropped like flies. Couldn't say a word. So they come to Parliament and lie to their teeth. And they lie so often that they're clearly not able to distinguish fact from lie. Not one of them. I'll give you a classic example of this. You know, I keep asking the Minister of Works, who happens to be the outgoing representative for North Windward, where he should have gone a long time ago. But that is another story. And for so many reasons. But I want to be nice this morning. I keep asking them about this road in Edinburgh, Colin, that started in 2017. Starts from the Hospital Gap through Edinburgh at the top of the hill leading into Otley Hall. And people have been suffering for for all these years. With they dug up, they fill back, they dug up, they fill back, it wash out over the years. That's all that's been happening. And you drive on that road and your vehicle suffers. The people who live next to the road, the level of dust is really unbearable. But they have the audacity to tell me, when last I asked the question on that road would be finished by April 1.
By April 1?
Yeah, this year, you know. Yeah, you know. And that's after the second or third postponement. You drive into the area, to the colony, the road is far from complete. They have resurfaced a little section. They still haven't finished the retaining wall, and everybody knows when you build a retaining wall, you just can't compact and put a road on top of it unless you allow a minimum time for that concrete to set. And this is a stone wall, you know, not even a reinforced concrete wall. On a major highway like that, where in parts the trench was over 10, 12 feet deep, and no reinforcement.
I had the opportunity to go over there recently, and I know the gap to swing down to go to the Emmanuel High School. Right there, a huge portion of the road has been narrowed to build a retaining wall, and that has been that way for quite some time now.
Very dangerous. We have several accidents that took place in that area. Most of the road now, they have put on a first layer to keep the dust down.
Right.
Thank God. But that is not the final layer. It have a couple of inches of the bituminous material to go to make the proper road service, to bring it up to the drain level and all of that. Significant amount of work still to be done. But the inconvenience that people have had to suffer over the years, you know, right in front of my office, and in the corner there's a preschool. They built that sidewalk. Thank goodness it's a proper sidewalk, but they left holes for grills so that you can clean the drain. And for so long, they left the grills open. So you're walking on the sidewalk and you could slip down. And later on, they went and put a few pieces of wood, but with gaping holes, even worse, because if your foot slipped between those logs, you go down, you can get serious injury. It took forever. It took Doc Howard to put that up on Facebook more than once before they came and covered those manholes in the thing. That's the kind of treatment they're meting out to the people of West Kingstown, you know. But one of the questions I raise in Parliament have to do with East St. George and the ongoing saga of the road work in Calico. That should have finished since Noah was a boy, long time ago. Remember, you know, they couldn't see the priority for fixing the girls' high school, and then they had a simple variation to allow Dinky Balcom's company to replace Grimble Hall and build it over, because the original contract was to repair it. But anybody, a blind man wearing spectacles, could have told them that Grimble Hall need to be demolished. Because if you walk in there, Colin, as I did over the years as a member of the PTA, you have to be careful where you put your foot, because the whole place was dancing and making noise, a wooden old structure. Yeah. And when Dinky started to check, the thing just crumbled. All they needed was a simple design and a variation in the contract. The kids could have been back in girls' high school for years now, but that's not priority. They have them in the flea-infested place in Annisville, and that is no end in sight. But here you are in Calico. They gave a contract to the chosen to do some drainage work and surfacing in Calico. All in a sudden, they say, no, we need to do much more than that. So they ain't put on a little extension, you know. They ain't go back out to tender. They go and give an extension with significantly more than the original tender. From 2.2, it moved to $5.5 million. That contract was to finish last year. Before the last I asked, I said it would finish in February this year. So I raised the question, when will this project be finished? How much has been spent? How much is left to be spent? Folks, I want you to listen to this. The Minister of Works said that of the works, the additional works of nearly $3 million that was added to the contract. Remember, the first part of the contract ain't finished yet,
Right.
He said, to date, 5%, 0.5% of that work is finished. And yesterday was the 23rd of June, 2025. And in the same breath, he turned around and said, this project will be completed in August of this year. Hear me. You took more than a year to accomplish 5%, but in less than 2 months, you will finish the 95%. And these guys have reached the point where they just don't care what they say. They give answers in Parliament expecting that only people with limited understanding like themselves would miss the rubbish that they're presenting in Parliament. You take over a year to get 5% of the work done. That's not my figure, that's a minister's statement. But in August of this year, you would finish the project. Now, Colin, you don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to be a quantity surveyor. You only have to be a real person to know that that is hogwash. Not just on the basis of the so-called government, because they never get anything done and done properly. But it's not near possible, given the scope of works to be done and given the way they fund these projects and the way the contractors are allowed to do what they do. But the bottom line is they treat people as though they're cattle, that they could say and do anything and get away with it. The people of Calico and surrounding areas have suffered for so long with the dust and the noise and the inconvenience, with steel sticking up in the air, with people looking in through your window from a raised sidewalk without any discussion, without any dialogue, no concern for the privacy of the... Remember, Calico is largely a mixed community with residential and commercial properties, including government offices like the...
So it's always a hive of activity.
Yes. But you do these things without any... mind you, the concept of raising the sidewalk and allowing for bigger drains and sidewalks for the first time anyway is good. But these are the things that you do in consultation with the residents, especially those whose houses are adjoining the road. So you don't wake up one morning and lying on your bed and find somebody peeping in your house directly on where you sleep when you just open your window. People need to prepare for these kind of things. It is just the way that they take people for granted, and for so long to do a simple bit. This is not rocket science, this is basic concrete work. Basic concrete work.
Could it be political strategy, because we are in an election year? So maybe drag your foot until it gets closer to the general elections, and then, divert more money in again and say, well, look, it's going to be August, because who knows how close to the end of this year the elections will be called.
Those whom the gods seek to destroy, they first make mad. They've been trying this stupid strategy for so many years. For so many years. And they think that people haven't been noticing. Colin, here is a government that election after election, they come and in the few months just before the election, they run around like headless chickens, fixing roads here, building bridge there, giving out this and giving out that. And then for the next 4.5 years, absolutely nothing. The people of this country have seen it all, Colin. Remember, during the building of the Argyle Airport, roads were allowed to deteriorate to the point where roads were completely closed. The Fenton Road, that important link between Green Hill and Bel Air area, that the bridges and the road surface completely disappeared. So that's no longer a road. But they said during the building of the Argyle International Airport, wait until the airport finish. You can see road building like you never see in this country. Well, they were right. Never before have we seen roads allowed to deteriorate like they've done under this government. Because they didn't understand that the second and third hand equipment that they brought in to build the airport couldn't last for the duration of the construction of the airport. Much more to be used in roads construction. That is how they don't understand project implementation at all. They're only concerned about what they can gain for themselves and their cronies through these projects that don't have the proper supervision. So all, whether it be the failed wall, the so-called playing field they try to create, to the disruption of people's lives in Calico, to the building now of that outlet from a company that came here to export fish, that is now allowed to compete with all the local, not just the fisher folk, but the people who sell greens and vegetables and so on. They are allowed to compete. And the Minister of Agriculture in Parliament made bold to say that it is not going to have any negative impact on either the fishers or the farmers. He said that in Parliament. He reinforced it yesterday. I don't know how otherwise intelligent people try to hoodwink so many of us. There must be an underlying reason why there is so much of a great desire to allow this company to be competing with suffering fisher folks in this country. Since Beryl, the fisher folks in the southern part of the island have received almost no assistance from the so-called government. Catching the nenen, the people removed from Rose Place, squatting in Lowman's Bay. Up to now, despite repeated promises in Parliament, no washing facility, no toilet, no nothing. When you come in with your boat to land your fish, not even a standpipe to wash your hand. After repeated promises, they told me in Parliament that they need to do a study to put down a toilet for the fisher folk. Apparently the study done. They say the money is approved. Not a thing, not a single thing for the fisher folk. So this is where we are, Colin. And of course, my other question had to do with Fort Charlotte. Because imagine this government got $7 million from a World Bank project to restore Fort Charlotte. $7 million. And after a lifetime, I can't find a better word, pardon the expression, of pussyfooting, wasting time, closing Fort Charlotte to the public. I went up there sometime, Colin, to see where this project is. And I nearly passed out. Because all the areas that they had barred off, cordoned off, shut out, they suddenly opened it. So I said, boy, I want to see what they've done inside. Not a single thing other than the corrosion on the steel and more of the plaster fall off the wall. Absolutely nothing done. They were supposed to restore the facade in the major opening as you enter the place. They were supposed to restore it. They went and painted some uglifying thing on the walls that now they have to take it off. And in process of taking it off, it will do more damage than good. They had to stop the project. And they tell me that whoever that contractor is, they were paid nearly $2 million for that. For that. And what they're claiming is that the rest of the money is going to some other project. But I listen carefully, Colin, because I know how money disappears under this government. But imagine 7 million in nearly 7 years, and that place, Fort Charlotte, is worse off today than it was when they started that project. Much worse. Nothing at all done of significance to that structure, and more than nearly $2 million spent. I don't know what kind of a government this is for. And there is a government that talking tourism, Here is a site that tourists, when
so
they
no
come,
significant facelift.
No facelift, Colin. Facelift.
I mean, some aesthetics to try and make it at least look good.
The only face it looked like is the man we got here, the aging face. That is what Fort Charlotte looks like right now. Nothing is done to Fort Charlotte after closing it up for so long. It's
and you're
worse.
talking about $7 million allocated to fix it.
It's worse than when they started. I invite Vincentians to go up to Fort Charlotte. Don't take my word.
Would they be allowed?
Pull the door up and go. They normally have the gate, the wooden door closed, but people go in because nothing is happening. No construction. They wickedly still have that door closed. And when nearly a year now, no work at all going on up there. Even in the height of the tower, you see people walking from the cruise ship going up to Fort Charlotte, expecting to see something. I invite the population to go up and see for yourself. If you think I'm joking, these are criminals.
But we're talking about $7 million allocated to fix it up, Mr. Cummins.
Colin, this is a worthless bunch of crooks. Worthless bunch of lying crooks.
But you said $2 million was spent to do something.
God knows what. Because they had several portions of that thing close up. There's something like a little museum.
Yes.
They took down all the paintings. Wherever they have them, God knows. But they had that area closed off. To the front, you have an area you can go in underneath.
Right.
And go back around the courtyard.
We were like the cells.
Right. Yes.
Right.
And then you go around into the courtyard facing the north.
Right.
Mountain. They had that locked off. So I said, boy, they must be creating something special in there. When they took down the partition, Colin, the place is just worse than it was before because more corrosion set in, more bad waste, more everything. They just locked it up all this time and did absolutely nothing on the ground section of that fort. Wow. Nothing at all.
Wow.
All this time, all these years. Preventing people from going up there. You would think that some major project of restoration taking place.
So what happened to the money?
Go and see. You got the great question. Where the money gone? And to whom? And why?
Because that's $7 million.
And why World Bank has decided to take the money away from them. Take it away from them. Put it in some other project. We will find out. We'll find out where it's gone. We'll find out where it's gone. Because, I have learned not to trust anything that comes from a minister on the other side, with one variation. Sinclair Jimmy Prince, and I make no bones about it, is one person whose word on the other side I would take. Because he tries to get to the truth. Oftentimes he is misled and misguided, but he's not given to lying to his teeth like the others will do. He's not, I've never proven him to be like the others. And sometimes people think that my politics is run up. No, I call a spade a spade.
As we should.
I call a spade a spade. I have not found any reason that to suspect that Jimmy Prince would tell me anything but what he believes is the gospel truth in Parliament. And I respect people for that. That is how it ought to be. But none of the others, not one, not Sloboto, not any one of them, or don't talk about the lion son. They're kings of lying. And they make a habit out of lying. And that is what is so unfortunate, because it's not about party, it's about the people. You know, it's a wicked bunch of people there.
How concerned should we really be about the financial affairs of this ULP administration, the way in which they attain money and spend money and allocate monies to projects in this country, given the fact that we've been hearing and it has been proven that we are in serious financial troubles in this country?
Well, Colin, I prefer to do it this way. My friend and parliamentary representative, Major, as is his norm, embarrassed the Minister of Finance yesterday about the Auditor General's report with respect to funding and how it is spent. So I will leave Major and Fitz and Dr. Friday to dwell on those points. Suffice it to say that Major just floored them. Because when you stand on the word of the Auditor General, Director of Audit, whatever the terminology, you know, thank goodness there are still elements of our society, and the Auditor General's office is one of them, charged with this huge responsibility and carry out their work diligently. Because in the final analysis, they don't have to answer to a political party. They have to answer to the people of this country and to their consciences. And clearly, the Ministry of Finance is not being properly run. They're violating the laws flagrantly. Flagrantly, they're violating the laws with respect to just, Parliament just, government just can't spend money willy-nilly, There are financial rules. There are financial rules that must be adhered to, and if you don't, you could be made to answer. And when the Auditor General has repeatedly complained about these things and you don't do anything about it, they should and they would answer to those things.
Let me play a short clip of what transpired as you're referring to there.
Yeah.
I'm obliged. Madam Speaker, I have to respect you, and I will not prolong this into debate. My quotation spoke to the shortfalls in capital revenue. 2022 had a shortfall of $263 million. That's the point. That's the point. And the fact is that over the period between Mr. Stadd's presentation and today, you have been short by $2 billion. You need to stop it, because you are not providing the finances that you are making believe, and for which the private sector are dependent upon you. And I'm finished with that. But that's not a supplement. And let me complete this. I'm the accountant here, not you. Facts, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
How again, does this prove just how misleading they are when they come to the figures of the finances of this country?
Colin, I said it and I repeat it. This is a government that lies, not as an accident, but as a way of life. They are absolutely shameless in the way they come, whether in Parliament, on radio, wherever, and lie to their teeth. They've made lying a way of life. They know no other way.
Let me ask you a very controversial question. If they can lie about the figures as it relates to the finances of this country in the upcoming general elections, should we be able to trust the figures that they're going to put out as it relates to the votes?
We've never trusted anything that they have, I keep reminding the people of this country that nothing that this fellow we have here does is by accident. Very early in his term in power, as he likes to say, they went to Parliament and passed the Freedom of Information Bill. Up to now, that bill has never been proclaimed and made into law. If that bill had come into being, the Freedom of Information Act would have allowed us to require them to provide key information. But they can't afford that. That is why the Freedom of Information Bill has not been proclaimed. That is no question about that.
But they're proven that, as they would say, they're not a man of their word, because even when they're supposed to come to Parliament for approval for a lot of things, they don't.
They don't follow the rules. They overdraft. They have exceeded it on so many occasions. They've spent money without having. Listen, money comes into this country for the government. It doesn't pass through the accountant general, and they're spending it illegally. The law is very clear. Major has been making that point repeatedly. Whether it be Petrocarib or whatever, so many other sources. This is the most corrupt government that doesn't abide by the rule of law at all. Doesn't abide by the rule of law. So then I, let Major and Doc and Fitz and so on, I sometimes, Colin, I tell people I am blessed to have some general information. As a manager, you have to have accounting and economics training, but I am on the surface. I don't pretend to be what I am. I have an understanding, but I'll leave those discussions for the people who are well grounded in them.
Right.
Because they would give you an even more correct and just explanation of the seriousness of our finances in this country.
But in all fairness,
sorry, Colin, it will come out in the wash,
It will come out in the wash.
Listen, they don't understand one thing. They don't understand one. They could cover up. They could burn paper. They could hide. Hey, it gonna come out in the wash.
Would the NDP have a lot to expose when they form government in this country in terms of the amount of stuff that the ULP would have done while in administration?
I would tell you this much. A still tongue keeps a wise heart. I deliberately reminded you and our listeners of what happened several years ago with Dr. Slater,
Right.
It was an angel that dropped that letter in my lap just before I went into Parliament. Without that, I couldn't say what I knew to be a fact. There are lots of angels in the world, even up to today.
And a lot of persons want to see this ULP administration out of office.
Including some of their former strong supporters who have seen it for themselves, what we've been saying for years, and are hell-bent, not only in getting rid of them, but making sure that they answer to their foul deeds, which are many.
Now that you mentioned that, one of the foul deeds that they would have perpetuated on the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we were talking about this just at the same time you were walking into the studio, is the vaccine mandate that they passed in Parliament in the wee hours of the night, that had the New Democratic Party and the unions coming out in protest and joining together and warning the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as to the wickedness that was perpetrated in Parliament that night. Now we're hearing, and we saw everything that happened. The unions took the government to court and
won.
And the long legal battle that went on. The government decided that they were going to fight it and all of that. No, here we are, this present administration, and it's just so obvious, it's just so blatant, in a clear effort now to try and win back the support of maybe those persons who were affected by the vaccine mandate, making the bold statement as to that they will pass legislation to ensure that persons who were forced out of their job because of the vaccine mandate by this ULP administration would be able to get back their jobs. How do you feel about that, hearing that?
I go back to my expression, Colin. A good lawyer friend of mine, God rest his soul, said that to me many years ago. Those whom the gods seek to destroy, they first make mad. Let me draw a simple parallel for you. I just came back from Trinidad, and we have a new government headed by Kamala Persad-Bissessar, our sister party in Trinidad. And one of the things that she said she was going to, Trinidad established what they refer to as Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority, where they brought together the inland revenue and income tax and customs and so on under one entity. And they said they're going to repeal that. They're going to get rid of it. They went into Parliament, and all it took is they repealed the legislation establishing the Trinidad and Tobago Revenue Authority. Case closed. Here's a government in St. Vincent that went to Parliament and passed this bill to criminalize the people, the nurses and the teachers who work under the worst conditions of COVID. Some of the most outstanding teachers and nurses, doctors, public servants. Make them feel like criminals because they decided that they don't think that the vaccine is a way to go.
Yeah, they were branded as a threat.
But these know all against all the rest of the world. The only country in the Caribbean passed such a foolish bit of legislation. The solution is simple. Repeal your wicked act. Repeal it. It must be no longer law. But instead of repealing it, you go on adding insult to injury, taking our taxpayers' money to take the case up to higher court. And you want to tell me after doing that, you still want people to believe that you have their interests at heart? If you have their interests at heart, withdraw the appeal, repeal the legislation, give people their status quo. Simple as that. That's what the NDP says we will do, and we will do it. So nobody listening to him, This is his problem. He's realizing every day that when he speaks, he's hearing his own echo, because nobody, not even his most ardent supporter, wants to hear his voice anymore. You notice he wasn't in Parliament yesterday? The stress is getting to him. The reality is driving home, But seriously, Colin, this is the most disgraceful attempt to make good. We're gone by the morning, can't come good the evening. Mr. Sir, here let me tell you, if you feel you want to win back a few public servants, simple, do what the NDP tell you to do, what we will do. Give the people back. You don't have to beg them for come to work, Reinstate them. Reinstate them. Make it that they were never fired, because they weren't. The court says they weren't. They didn't abandon the work. You dismiss them without cause. Reinstate the people with all the benefits. No 1.5 measure, a quarter measure, no sheep measure. Nobody wants to hear from you for that matter. Until you do what is right. But we know you can't do it because you don't have a good bone in you for that kind of thing. You can't do it. You have such venom in you, such bile for the people of this country, especially those who don't support you on anything. I know what I'm talking about, I never met a man who could hate somebody with such passion that will go to the end of the earth to destroy you totally. Totally. Folks, I hate to do this, but I remind you that my winery, my life investment in the winery is still tied up in court for more than 15 years. My life investment tied up there. My wife couldn't continue as the president of the family court. I couldn't continue in water. Listen, I nearly got put out of an assignment I got in Anguilla by the action of this man here. So I know the venom. I know when he talked about going up in coconut tree and pelting coconut at the body or whoever, you could imagine what he'll do for you and me. There's not a human being in this world hell-bent on destroying people who don't see eye to eye with him as this fellow we got here. There's no love. There's no compassion. Even you are his firmest supporter, and you go publicly and criticize him, boy, you got to watch your back. I used to tell that to my good friend Jomo, even when he was Speaker of the House. And before that, I said, look, when you write an article in the paper, and he could tell you, I told him this, you could write the worst way criticizing Ralph. Before you finish writing that article, you have to find a way to criticize him. Because if you ain't do that, you're dead. You're dead. I know the man. I know the man.
So, with all that he would have done, especially as it relates to this vaccine mandate, do you believe that persons will forget, will remember what he did to them, and he's hoping that maybe this move may gain him some votes and some support?
Whom the gods seek to destroy, the first make mad. Colin, this is just now adding insult to injury, more hurt for the people whom he spited. That is what it does, And people have made up their mind long time, but this just makes them even more angry. I can tell you that because I experience it. It isn't going to. Nobody is asking for mercy from Ralph. They want justice. That is what people want. Nobody is begging you for anything. Nobody is begging you for anything. Give the people what is theirs. You're not doing them any favor. You have wronged hundreds of people. This is one wrong you need to put right, but I know you ain't got it in you because it will show you. It would point out, it would be admitting that you're a human being and you're frail and you don't think you are. And that is your problem.
I think we have a caller on the line. Not sure if the caller is still there. Caller, hello, you still there with us?
Yes, I'm calling him.
Welcome. This sounds like the Major. Major, welcome.
Yeah, you know, my friend Daniel has not been treating me to the best for the last few weeks. First of all,
sorry to have you holding so long.
My representative.
Colin, you're forgiven, not Daniel. Normally you take some things for granted, but I miss my friend and brother. I missed him for a few weeks there. He was out. But yesterday when I was on the floor, I really missed him too because how we just tag team, But so when he walked in, I was so glad to see him, And all that Daniel is saying today is so correct, But and it's before I really make the point why I'm joining this conversation. That is what this election is all about, Daniel is speaking about the money that they claim that they spend here, there, and everywhere. But when you subject them to this, Daniel's speaking now about a physical examination.
Yes.
You're not speaking about a book examination. He's talking on the positive. When you're going to take the 2 eyes that God gave you. Just think about Daniel said, here's a place bar up, fence off, block off for years. And you are made to believe
something happening good.
And when you go and you examine it, no such thing is taking place. I mean, that is dishonest of the highest level.
Major, listen to this, Not a word from the government on the status of that project. If I didn't ask the question, we'll be none the wiser. Cover up.
And it reaches the high bar of misbehavior in public office.
Absolutely.
And that's what the election is about, Yeah. When you hear them giving out 3,000 here and 10,000 here and 8,000 here and all kind of categories of people to get this benefit, that benefit, and the other. When he's actually genuflecting now with the public servants and pass a law to get your pension, the thing about them, is that they're trying to save this him. Because the minute they get out of office and the government settles down and they begin to examine closely the evidence that is before you, people are going to get into trouble. I have no doubt about that. People are going to get in trouble because they have been fooling around with the accounts of this country. So I move from the physical statement that Daniel makes where he looked at something that happened. As a matter of fact, Daniel was next to me yesterday. I told Daniel, what's the only face? Look, this thing is only 5% complete. But give me another 2 months. Give me another 2 months. I'm barring the rain. I'm going to be 100% complete. And Daniel, who is an engineer, is supposed to believe that. You understand what I mean? Because he says only asphalt work. And that's what is move fast. Oh, God help us in Mr. Grady. But I predicated a question yesterday, and I really want people to collect it up, Colin and my friend. In that I said that a previous director of audit had said, and I don't read it, and this was director's snag. He said the government should consider reviewing the total estimate for the capital expenditure. That's capital expenditure. Since these large shortfalls in capital revenue, so headed toward one capital expenditure, but it goes on to say the shortfalls in capital revenue have implications for the credibility of the capital budget. Mm-hmm. That was 2004 and 2005. He said that the shortfalls in capital revenue. I am bringing to the attention of the Minister of Finance that nearly 20 years after, in the year 2022, because there's still some 2025, but we don't have that report as yet, that they said to this nation they will receive $265 million. And they actually received 1 million. Now, how can an economist, a budget officer, a minister of finance, and a prime minister explain to a nation that there was, for you to say you will receive 265 million, but in the end you only got 1 million? Is there more to come of truth in that, Colin? Is there reasonableness in all this?
Mm-hmm. Major, when we were kids, we used to play make-believe shop. We used to break we used to break pieces of glassware and use it as payment.
As money.
They're operating in the same way now.
So that was
over 200 million to one, and you want people to take you seriously.
So that was the question. And I supported that statement forward by the Director General's report on page 47. Darren, let me take 2 minutes of your time.
You go right ahead, man.
In which she said, as shown in table 112, the actual capital revenue collection fell short of their budgetary allocation for the fiscal year by $198 million, nearly $200 million. Now, so when you hear government speaking about this billion-dollar budget, billion-dollar budget, they have never reached the $1 billion that they said that because they never got the money.
Correct.
And the fact of the matter is that if you go back for the last 10 years, you'll see this misstatement and miscalculation amongst to about $2 billion of impressions and the falsehood that they've been telling the Vincent people and getting headline stories in the Socialite and other newspapers of this wonderful governmental performance. When in fact it's a mirage. It's a lie. It's a lie. So I want to add 2 statements to this because we're meeting as the Public Accounts Committee Thursday. Listen to the statement, that the same snag came back and made as the Director of Audit. The ease which funds can be obtained and spent without the authorization of the House of Assembly should be reviewed in purpose of Section 72, that's the Financial Administration Act of the Constitutional Order. And he went on his own statement, is that what constitutionalism is about? Meaning that because you name government, you could violate the Constitution, the Financial Administration Act, and just go and spend money willy-nilly without approval of the House of Assembly. That's what that director said,
And it isn't there because it wants to be a constraint. It is there because it's an absolute necessity.
Exactly.
It's not a trivia. It's not that you could do it if you want or don't do it if you don't feel like. It's a requirement, and the Constitution is the highest law of the land.
No.
You have so many trained lawyers on the other side.
Exactly. Colin, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Molly Garner. This is a different direction of speaking. The person what I say now. The Haley Sealy. This is what she says. Because of the significance of matters described above, and she listed all of them, I have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to provide a basis for an audit opinion. Accordingly, I do not express expression and opinion of the financial statements.
Good heavens.
The director said, I can't tell you what is written there.
Good heavens. Major, if you run in a business, and your auditor comes up with that in his or her report, what that means for your business?
Exactly.
You're not a going concern.
Well, exactly. When you come to the 2022 report, you're seeing serious concerns in what is happening. And, you see this concern because I'm a numbers person. Daniel's an engineer. I'm a numbers person. That's what I'm trained, and that's how we function. It is clear to me that a lot of the money that the government is spending, that they don't have parliament approval to spend this money. It's in rocket science. You could match. So that's why my question was presented. You take a case for example, at the start of the parliament year, we didn't give any approval at all. Zero approval for domestic bond transactions. By the end of the day, there is $146 million at the Regional Securities Exchange. So the run for cover and say, public sector improvement program, investment program, there was approval for 125. Still less than what there is. Still less 20-something. And you know what? They have the audacity to send the parliament yesterday. They don't know this is so, why that is so, it can't be so, why this 20 million, this, that, this, and they're going to have to double check what they do. The second guessing director,
fool or talk.
Second guessing your accountant general.
Yeah.
3 years after,
Yep.
Because of the 2022 report.
Good heavens.
So now that we raised it in 25, you are second guessing if this was true 3 years ago.
I tell you.
So you ain't find out that yet. The directors of audits, they bring attention to the fact that you take bonds, the money that comes in, that should be reported under your public debt. The fund, the pot from which it should then come out and spent where you give authorization. Because you took a loan to pay a loan, you took a loan from NS, and you took a bond loan to pay back NS. And they don't pass it through the system.
They run in government like their own piggy bank. That's why
like a Mobby shop.
He, for example, Major, take away from mobilization or whatever they call that ministry, money that's supposed to be paid out for poor relief and so forth. He took more than what the ministry has to distribute for he personally to give out to people to go and get hairdo and go to Kaduna. Imagine that.
Remember, and he had to admit that yesterday, at one time, through special warrants, he spent as much as $100 million. $100 million without parliament's approval.
This is not a democracy.
Huh? I mean, where else this could happen? But the insult of the insults yesterday in answering my question, Colin, and this has not registered with Simmons and the Grenadines yet, I asked a question in the parliament yesterday, would he come to go in Stockholm in Green Hill? Or behind Scarlet Spaniard, or go up by Wrong Hill in Sharps, or go to Fort Place in it. And he said, he will not go with me. He will go with Marvin Fraser.
Yeah, you go.
Who is now his advisor on Central Kingston. This is a candidate, And a prime minister comes to his son, comes into the parliament, and elevates a ULP candidate to the official position of an advisor to the government. You think that could be said in Trinidad and Tobago? You think that could be said in Barbados? You think that could be said in Jamaica? You think that could be said in the United Kingdom? Think about that audacity and effrontery.
But Major,
and how disgusting we are now as a country.
Major, look at what's happening in the Southern Grenadines. The health services are already in a mess. When you're taking a radiographer out of a job to authorize her to distribute cement, lumber, and galvanized in the Southern Grenadines, where she is the candidate.
Same thing.
Eh?
Different shades of pale.
Eh?
I mean, so is this a real place?
And shameless.
Is this a real place?
They'll have to answer.
All professional people are sitting out with the lipstick. And it goes back to what Daniel is struggling with and I'm struggling with, and not us alone. To face in grips with that now. So to his Conroy, and a lot of our colleagues, it is the extent to which this guy has been able to corrupt our professional people to do his bidding.
Yep.
And stay and sit silent in it.
Yep.
Sit and stay silent in it. And that's where St. Vincent has got to today. And the man is, it is not a real place.
Of course not.
And that's what this election is, to restore and return our democracy. You know? I mean, Joe Fall is vote now, and I thank him for what he's saying. But that's a person with all his strength was not even able to allow a constitutional motion to debate in the parliament.
That's a kind of influence, my brother.
That's the kind of influence.
Yep.
That's the kind of influence.
Yep. That's what it is.
That throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, people can't make a stand. And he so feels that he has us eaten out of his hand. That if I tell them I will go and pass a law to give them their pension, you will vote for me again. Haven't already said they'll vote for him again, you know. You already said that. That the people who he fired.
I like when he keeps thinking that way. Let him sit on that path.
And now I've taken up enough of your time, boy.
Thanks, my brother. Very worthy.
All right, Major. Thank you.
Thank
you just heard from Major Sinclair Leacock joining us here on the program. Mr. Cummins, I mean,
you see, Colin, that's the beauty of the New Democratic Party. We are a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
We have people, and I heard Dr. Shadow made this point at a meeting some time ago, about the capacity of our team. It's youth and experience and the varied qualifications across the board. People who haven't been inheriting anything from the daddy. People who worked their way into positions of responsibility and able to exercise that, to grow and to develop into full-fledged professionals. It's that experience that will be brought to bear on the governance of this country, where, treating people like people, not like cattle, not like voting cattle, but working for the benefit. It's in working for the benefit of all that the country develops, Colin. And I hate to belabor it, but I always have to go back to the model of the CWSA, where it is the development of the people, the staff in that institution, that has allowed that institution to survive 25 years of Hurricane Ralph.
All right. Let's take the commercial break, and when we come back, we'll come back with more here on the New Times program, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. Let's take the commercial break, and we come back right here after this.
This one's for country. Get ready as the NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division. So we're heading to Abundance Bar at Young Peace, North Union on Saturday, 28th June for a big karaoke and bingo. For bingo will be 4 games of $100 each with a jackpot of $1,000. Tickets only $5. Starting time 9 p.m. So come sing the night away and win some big money for Carnival. As NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division brings to you karaoke and bingo on Saturday, 28th June in Long Beach, North Union at Amanda's Bar. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
Please note that the ticket for the jackpot is $10.
Central Leeward, get ready to turn up the vibes. It's the Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Miro. It's happening Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar. Come live and rally with your representative, Conroy Huggins. Meet the man with the plan, the vibes, and the vision for Central Leeward. Tickets are only $80. And this one is selling off fast. We leave Barely at 7 a.m., Kingstown at 8 a.m., and it's all presented by the Central Leeward Young Dems and the NDP Central Leeward Division. It's mix, mingle, and move with the mission. The future is now. Let's ride with Huggins in this massive Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Miro on Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. And if by chance you find a better price, no stress. Just talk to the General and they will beat that price plus give you special priority delivery. Yes, General Hardware offers free island-wide delivery on most purchases, so you never have to worry about getting your goods on site on time. Plus, shopping at General Hardware is a pleasant experience with friendly, knowledgeable staff always ready to serve. What more could you wish for, huh? So come to General Hardware for proper service, lowest prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
Bonady Supermarket in Kingstown, serving the nation with quality service and excellent prices. At Bonady Supermarket number 2, located at Upper Middle Street, we are proud to serve you. We are second to none. Call us at 457-1616. We at Bonady Supermarket number 2 will always be here for you. Bonady Supermarket, serving the nation with quality service and excellent prices.
Traffic is backed up on major highways.
Oh, I need gas. Good thing there's a Sol nearby.
Oh, good, because we really need a drink.
We know your time is precious and you have enough detours. Our convenient locations are there to serve you on your way. Enjoy the journey. Choose Sol.
Flow's prepaid customers can now unlock big bonus rewards like bonus data, prizes, and more every time you activate a 3-day prepaid plan or larger. Activate a plan, then scratch to reveal your bonus data. Plus, get points for extra prizes. The more you activate, the more bonus data and prizes you can win. Get in on the big bonus rewards when you activate a prepaid plan. Dial *129# or visit topupflow.com to activate a plan today.
There are many cleaning companies, but there is only one company that cleans, and that is VinceClean. So you don't have to wait for a season. Cleanliness is enough of a reason. Just finish building your dream home and wish to move in? Then VinceClean is for you. Do you have oil mark where that car is parked? New tiles just laid and want to remove tile grout, cement, or paint? VinceClean is for you. Shampooing of chair sets, mattress, carpet, house cleaning. VinceClean is for you. So whatever cleaning you need and for the best prices and quality on the market, telephone 431-1360, 457-1649. VinceClean, 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 the best in service.
Get dinner and candles alight, popcorn for your movie night. One stop and get it right. It's that good. We've got what you're looking for. All the brands you love and more. Get everything at Massy Stores. Massy Stores is where you wanna be. We take care of you like family. We do all that we could to treat you like we should. It's that good. It's that good. That good. When you shop at Massy Stores. That good.
Massy Stores, our family serving your family.
Lewis Pharmacy. We specialize in friendly service with a personal, professional touch. Hence, we take pride in offering patient counseling on all prescription and over-the-counter products. We welcome inquiries on prescription drugs, vitamins, herbal preparation, fitness nutritional products, cough, cold, allergy, and all other health care products. For the convenience of our patients and surrounding community, we are situated uptown opposite the bus stop at Juicy Building. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Lewis Pharmacy.
We are looking for friendly, reliable individuals to join our team at Richardson Motors, Arnisville. If you enjoy working with people and thrive in a fast-paced environment, we'd love to meet you. We are interviewing for cashiers and fuel attendants. Applicants must reside between Kingston and Ratamil, Fountain and Kelboni, New Montrose, Redemption Shops, and their surrounding areas. Transportation will be provided for the night shift. Apply in person anytime between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday to Friday. Alternatively, you can WhatsApp 496-9213 for more information. Start your next job today. Come grow with us.
CK Graves and Company is the number one supermarket for 100% concession. The Intention Supermarket. We've got more of what you're looking for in multiple locations to serve you more and more. In business now for over 50 years, and you will always save by shopping right here. Oh yes, we're number one. CK Graves and Company, and we are Vincent John, a supermarket for you and me.
Air filters, oil filters, fuel filters, disc pads and brake shoes, clutch disc, pressure plates, rotor plates, engine parts, fan belts, timing belts, oil seals, spark plugs, radiators, radiator hoses, water pumps, universal joints, suspension parts, KYB Japanese shocks for Toyota, Nissan and Suzuki, tie rods, rack ends, ball joints. You can also get accessories, cleaning supplies, polishes, titanium tint, black tint, Valvoline motor oils, Toyota and Honda motor oils, transmission fluids, Michelin wiper blades, headlights, corner lights, HID kits, HID bulbs and ballast, LED bulbs, and much, much more can be had at Automax Auto Parts. Automax goes the extra mile and spend the extra dollar to ensure that you get first quality Japanese auto parts. Come see the difference at our showroom opposite the basketball court in Camden Park. Call us at 458-2000 or 529-2070. Visit us on Facebook, Automax Auto Parts. Drive the extra mile to get the best first quality auto parts.
Please note that we open on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
I passed by a brethren the other day. If you see he plays rat and cockroach racing, mosquito fighting one another for come knee in your ears, and the amount of woodlights I see, I had to wonder if them been in the wood with no attack and build the ark. I said, bye, call Flick.
For the eradication of pests, Flick is your answer. Before and after construction of your domestic and commercial buildings, Flick uses environmentally safe chemicals and keep washrooms fresh with the Aroma Odor Control and the FemCare Sanitary Disposal Systems. Call Flick Pest Control today at 457-1857 or click www.flickpestcontrol.com.
Memorial Funeral Home is dedicated to meeting the needs of our customers. We go above and beyond to ensure satisfaction and convenience. That is why we are extending our services to the diaspora. Working with Caribbean Funeral Home in New York. Burial packages can now be completed in New York to cover burials in St. Vincent. And likewise, packages can be made in St. Vincent to cover burials in New York. Caribbean Funeral Home is located on 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. Call their office at 718-444-1818 or WhatsApp at 347-925-9557 or 347-231-5410. For more information, call our local office at 458-8888. Memorial Funeral Home. Quality, convenience, and affordability.
Randy Supermarket is perfect for all your grocery needs. We have a range of liquor, liqueur, and wines, fresh and quality bread, and our weekly specials will simply amaze you. Conveniently opened 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays to Thursdays, and Fridays and Saturdays 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have competitive prices and friendly staff. Randy Supermarket, located at Lower Bay Street and Terrell Street. Call us at 456-2994. Randy Supermarket, where shopping is fun.
This one's for country. Get ready as the NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division. So we're heading to Abundance Bar at Long Beach, North Union on Saturday, 28th June for a big karaoke and bingo. For bingo will be 4 games of $100 each with a jackpot of $1,000. Tickets only $5. Starting time 9 p.m. So come sing the night away and win some big money for Carnival. As NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division brings to you karaoke and bingo on Saturday, 28th June in Long Beach, North Union at Amanda's Bar. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
Please note that the ticket for the jackpot is $10.
Central Leeward, get ready to turn up the vibes. It's the Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Myro. It's happening Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar. Come live and rally with your representative, Conroy Huggins. Meet the man with the plan, the vibes, and the vision for Central Leeward. Tickets are only $80. And this one is selling off fast. We leave Barrowly at 7 a.m., Kingstown at 8 a.m., and it's all presented by the Central Leeward Young Dems and the NDP Central Leeward Division. It's mix, mingle, and move with the mission. The future is now. Let's ride with Huggins in this massive Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Myro on Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar.
We all in on this. Enough is enough. This is it. Enough is enough. The people say they gone now. You want to hear that again? Enough is enough. The people say they gone now. Properly gone. What hidden in darkness must come out in light. Yes. Don't you be a coward. Just stand up and fight. Remember they fight the teachers like they have no right. Remember? Forcing them to take vaccine. All of that was spite. Enough is enough. The people say they gone now. You want to hear that again? Enough is enough. The people say they gone now.
Welcome back to the New Times program, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you back after the commercial break. Still with us here in the studio, the chairman of the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Daniel Cummins. He's the elected representative for the constituency of West Kingstown, and he's here with us in the studio, folks. 12 minutes after the 1 o'clock hour, we're in the final segment of the New Times program. And we welcome you back after the break, Mr. Cummins. Well, we've been talking a lot of issues here this morning, national issues, political issues, financial issues. I know you are very dear to your constituency. And I know, even though we talked about the Edinburgh Road and Fort Charlotte, that's just a scrape of the number of things that you can highlight and talk about in your constituency of West Kingstown. But also as chairman, I want to talk about election preparedness and constituency readiness in terms of issues too as well. How are you seeing it in your constituency, and by far from the party's standpoint, the overall readiness and constituency readiness of the candidates going forward?
Thank you again, Colin. In the elections that I faced in West Kingstown, each one has been against a woman. And I've never really paid much attention to whoever the candidate is. I always say my focus is on the constituents of West Kingstown. Those are the people I deal with. Those are the people I talk to. I learn from them. I'm very straightforward and honest when I go and visit people. I talk about everything under the sun, hardly about politics. I talk about people's development, what can be done in the community, what can be done as a government. The bottom line is, what drives me is the opportunity to see people live better lives. And it goes back to the best years of my life as a member of the Rotary Club of St. Vincent, when we were able to take limited resources and see transformation in the lives with projects like the water project in Fancy, the village doctor, and even projects in the Grenadines with water storage tanks and so on. To be able to see people's lives improve before your eye is an experience that pays you much more than money can. And that is what keeps me active in politics even today. I am very proud of the people of West Kingstown. I think they understand me just as well as I understand them. I love engaging with the young people. I find them to be extremely well informed, knowledgeable. There's nothing that the government could do that will mama guide them. They tell me of all their concerns about how long they've suffered and how they're trying now to run roughshod over them by expecting to just do little. Even now, they're not even doing the job completely, but they expect people to genuflect and say thank you when they patch a hole here and patch a hole there. So we are good. I just want to use this opportunity to remind the people that our one major event of the year, the August 1 Community Fair, is coming up. When we have been preparing for several months now. And like last year, we have the tickets. We will be distributing them very shortly for the grand raffle. The 65-inch TV call-in, weekend trip for two to Mustique, and of course, grand food hamper are the main prizes. Tickets are still $5, and a book of 5 is for $20. And those tickets will be on sale very shortly. I have them in my possession, and we'll sort that out. So, and this year promises to be a fair with a difference. We will say more, but I want to let people know that it would not just be coming to the venue to have a meal and run back. There will be entertainment throughout the day, including an over 50 fashion ladies fashion contest. Over 50 ladies will be
over 50 ladies or ladies of over 50.
Over 50.
I just want to make but that's a lot of ladies.
over 50 ladies will be putting on a very special show. We will have the usual barber dancing. We'll have a DJ throughout, an MC. We'll have entertainment. We have different games. There will be lots of stuff for the kids. And of course, when we say West Kingston Fair, we say food. And as usual, the folks from Fancy will be doing on the spot the usual Dukana and Madongo Bakes and all of that. Everything will be there. And we couldn't have a fair if we didn't put on a good roti show. So all of that would be taking place. August 1st, remember the date, and it's always August 1st. And this year is going to be more than special because it comes in an election year, and you know how important that is to us. So it's a good time for the family, and we are working hard to put on a program with a difference. So I want to encourage people to mark the day, and that's a day when you shouldn't be cooking. You should have all the food and drinks at this event.
Just come with an empty stomach.
Yes, and if you're interested in learning how to play domino, because pick a partner like Major and come, or Peter for that matter. Lots of games and lots of entertainment. We really want to make this one extra special this year. It's the one event of the year that we in West Kingston put on, and we know that all constituencies will be supporting this event. So look forward to it on August 1. Yeah.
All right, great. Well, what we'll do at this point in time, we'll open up the phone lines for persons who would like to call and interact and engage with us. Based on the conversations and the discussions we've had here this morning on the program, I know that there are a lot of persons who would like to weigh in on it. The chairman of the party is here. Any questions that you would like to pose to him, whether it be on a national level or constituency level, of any issue that you would like to raise politically or socially here with us on the New Times program. The phone lines are now open. You can call us live in the studio. Of course, the number is 456-5967. That's 456-5967. You can call us live in the studio, or you can drop us a message on the WhatsApp. That number is 498-3802. That's 498-3802. That's the WhatsApp number. And as always, we can't forget our friends in the diaspora. Love to always to hear from you too as well. You can call us on the Magic Jack number. That number is 718-734-5615. That's 718-734-5615. You can call us now live in the studio here on the New Times program.
And as you make that call in, I just want to suggest to our friends in the diaspora, we know things are hard, but for this particular fair, if in any way you can assist, we would truly appreciate it. One of the ways you can is to sponsor a few persons for meals or for a book of the tickets for the raffle, for the TV, whatever. Any assistance lends to the celebration here in St. Vincent. Thank you much.
All right. I think we have a caller coming in, so let's go to the phone line. Let's see. We have caller. Hello, welcome to the program.
Yes, good afternoon. afternoon, sir.
Welcome.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, and my MP.
Good day. Good to hear you.
Yes, sir. I am one national who invests a lot of thought in, development of my country, because I am seeing a future coming where people will be running out of the United States and other parts of the world. I could see it coming. It actually is at the threshold, and it makes me consider home's base as the place where most of us would end up.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, you look out for the welfare and the well-being and the care for, say, an increased population.
Yeah, and not to cut you, but the two components for that are what are severely missing in our country: security and healthcare. And those are key areas that the NDP is going to work seriously on.
Yeah, and in doing politics differently, I am old enough to know all of post-independence politics in St. Grenadines.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the impression that when candidates are elected, especially to government, as though somehow what the community thinks is not important. I mean, we know, say, even in America, technocrats and things, the government still turn to them for ideas.
Yep.
But somehow we have come to a point home where it's only the politicians could talk when they might not even have the expertise.
Correct.
I am asking this question because I could see you being a senior man. You already are in a new administration. Would you encourage your colleagues to at least open up the channels for think tanks and community events to get feedback and ideas from the regular man, and learn from their collective wisdom and experience?
It is.
And I'll leave it right there.
Thank you so much. You're so spot on. I have a basic saying, anytime you think you know it all, that's when you begin to deteriorate. Learning is a continuous process. And I make this point, how crucial it is for all professionals, whether you be a doctor, a nurse, an engineer, an architect. You go to school and you learn certain things. Nothing is fixed. The whole world is changing, and nowadays at such a rapid rate. So you have to keep pace, otherwise you become a dinosaur in 5 years. Things are completely turned around. So learning is a tremendous process. And yes, you have to listen to different ideas all the time, and be prepared to change and to say you are wrong and to look at another way of doing the same thing that is more efficient. The change process is so vital to our way forward. But when look at what happens in St. Vincent now. You have one man who went to school many moons ago in an area that has very little to do with development. But he alone must have the say in everything. No wonder we are in the situation we are today. Dr. Friday is a kind of person who, even as a lawyer, listens to the views of lawyers and others on every subject. He doesn't just determine that this is his way and this is the highway. He listens intently and respects the views of all those who have contribution to make. Not just educated people or regularly trained people, but people on the ground, because they too have critical components of the puzzle. I've often said many of the projects we carry out here in St. Vincent, including the port project, fail because we don't pay attention to the local knowledge. There are contractors and engineers here who warned against that design of the port, and they threw cold water on it, and today we live to see they were right. It is a wrong design, and that is why it has failed. So your point is so valid, my dear friend. So very valid.
All right. Thank you, caller.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. I think we have another call coming in, so let's take this call and let's see who we have. Caller, hello. Welcome to the program.
Colin, good afternoon.
Good. Welcome.
Family.
Good afternoon, Bam. How are you?
Good to hear you, man. I was out for a bit.
Yeah. Now let me ask a question. How's the battle season? Mr. Jimmy Prince. Carl lost a lawyer. The man who say he want to put education. Well educated man. Could sit down in parliament with my booster, who is my representative only. I don't vote for him. How them could sit down in parliament until the prime minister is giving Montgomery Daniel, put Montgomery Daniel, deputy prime minister, in front of them bright young man there, and they sit down there listen to Montgomery Daniel over the hill, and can't say nothing. How could them sit down in parliament or sit down in their home with their wife and children and listen to Montgomery Daniel? We have nothing more to offer to this country.
They will tell you that they have to eat a food.
They're not got no ambition.
Yeah, you got it.
What they go school for? What they got the education for? You know, see, he have no respect for those gentlemen. If the prime minister have any respect for those gentlemen, you think he has got Montgomery Daniel as his deputy prime minister over those young bright men there? So, but you see, the lawyer and scholarship and you're the lawyer. You should condemn that, kick against that. See that, I'll sit down there and listen. Stupidness. When you listen Mr. Montgomery Daniel,
don't forget what the real issue is. You know, it's his son he wants to get there, and since he can't get his son, he'll make sure.
Well, Minister, you're not considering the young bright men, and when you done the complaint, boy, you have bright men and women in your party.
Yeah,
when you wouldn't give them a chance.
Yeah, if the son can't make it, nobody else
one
wants.
Of them when you can't make the hold the deputy prime minister post.
Yeah. The time is coming soon when all of them will have to go.
I won't say him call his son because his son has no ambition either. Because he said, Daddy.
All right.
I can't stand that.
All right, thank you. All right, 28 minutes after the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to try and take a few more calls and then allow Mr. Chairman to give his final remarks here on the program today. And of course, remind you of some upcoming activities for the New Democratic Party. Even though we're not having village meetings until after the carnival season, there's still quite a number of activities that are happening with the New Democratic Party through the season that we encourage you to come out and to be a part of. So the phone lines are still open.
Let me shout out my dear friend from East St. George. This is Lavon Gibson Velox. My colleague Fitz from East Kingstown, and of course, colleague Terence Oliver, both of whom were in Parliament yesterday. And, you know, Terence continues to be plagued with the failure of the government to assist the people of the Southern Grenadines to get their lives back to normal. So stop me at any time if there's a call, Colin.
No, go right ahead.
Folks would know that we in West Kingstown are proud to be working hand in hand with East St. George. Calling you as campaign man and the candidate Laverne. This is one of the ways the New Democratic Party is organized in this particular election, where you have people. Major, I know, is working assiduously with South Windward. And it's not to say that we don't have close alliance with other constituencies. For example, many people know of my links to the Northern Grenadines. This is my favorite part of this country. So we are lending support all around. And it's not just me, but it's my entire team in West Kingstown, because we're going to make sure that the New Democratic Party not just wins back the seats it has, but it forms a broad-based government to carry out the mandate of restoring the country to some levels that we can be proud of.
All right. I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, hello. Welcome to the program. Caller, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, yes, Colin. Good program. And to Mr. Cummins.
Good day.
Yes, I'm calling from South Windward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you.
Yes, I'm calling from South Windward.
Glad to have you.
Now, the party out, the Labour Party now scraping the barrel out there now because there are some workers, program workers. They invite them to the office outside out there and telling them they must vote Labour because if NDP win, then I go hire them again. I told the people that they lie. You understand? So,
but what the yes program is not any guaranteed form of work. It's a very short term work. What the new Democratic Party offers is proper employment, properly paid.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm telling them now to vote Labour and don't worry then and give them paper to sign it. You know?
Yeah,
desperate times.
Yeah, quite
yes,
clearly.
I know desperate time. I know desperate time.
Yeah.
So good program.
People know better
Thank you,
than
my
that,
brother.
man. God bless.
All right, keep the calls coming. We're going to try and see if we can squeeze in at least another 2 callers here before we allow the chairman to give us his closing comments here on the New Times program.
Planting, knocking dog all over the place. Boy. Oh, what a country, eh?
Planting for votes, but I mean,
what a country!
What the kind of level that we're stooping to now to try and appease people and to win votes and supports in this country. I mean, I never thought we would have gotten to this.
Colin, you're bringing in people to sell fish and produce, but you can't find market for plantains for the farmers. Imagine that! What a mockery! What look what passes for governance, eh? You can't get a market for the quality plantains we have here till you have more than you could give away. People refusing them. But you bringing in people to compete with the fishers. Eh?
All right. We have a caller. Caller, hello, welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you for having me, Brother Cummins. How are you doing?
Good to hear you, Sir Dave. Good to hear you, my brother.
Well, I am here more or less in the political wilderness, so to speak. I mean, trying to make good sense out of what I'm hearing. The Prime Minister now is trying to what they call it? He want to pass legislation to make it possible for all those people who he treated like nobody, as though they're not humans. You want to bring them back in? Oh.
No, not to bring them back, to say guaranteeing their pension. The question is, why have they lost their pension?
But that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the most important. Why did he have to do what he did in the first place? And ignore and completely ignore the decision
of the court.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's why he should go in Parliament and rescind the wicked legislation that he passed. That is what he should do.
Well, I made a comment somewhere on that, on what his action is all about. And it's only up to my people. And when I say my people, our people who are thinking, critical thinkers.
Correct.
To understand what this guy is all about. Huh?
Believe you me, the people have seen through him, man.
Because elections coming, and he still want to make, as he had said one time, they're making asses out. One time he had made that comment, huh? But that's what he wants to do with our people.
Desperation.
Come on, man! By now, after 25 years of this kind of experience with his government, Vincentians should learn more about the education revolution that he had for them.
Yes,
all of this is what has bear fruit.
Yeah.
And it's now that for those of us who can't think, those of us who can't understand what he's up and all about and so on. So to all of you Vincentians who are listening and seeing what is happening around you, take warning. Take warning.
Amen.
Because the evil that men do come back to haunt them and make zombies after a while. Thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
Dave.
All right. And I think that's going to be our final caller. So, Mr. Cummins, it's over to you for your final comments here in the program today.
Thank you very much, Colin. I just want to say a word to the folks of West Kingstown. I've given a commitment to you to serve you, and for as long as the good Lord gives me the health and strength, and you want me to be your representative, I am humbled. I look forward to the coming election. For the first time when we will get a chance, not just to talk about what we want to do in West Kingstown, but to be able to implement the changes that would enhance the lives and the livelihoods of all of the people of West Kingstown. Dr. Friday repeatedly talks about that very important project in Otley Hall that this so-called government completely destroyed, and a project that can provide hundreds of real quality jobs for people of all ages. Remember, the New Democratic Party sent folks all the way to Italy to be trained for the various jobs at that facility, to watch that world-class dry dock allowed to completely corrode to the point where it has to be abandoned, to see where they allowed so much of the iron just to ship out the iron for private people to make money from the wreckage that is there. All that dead space storing rubbish for so long. And prime estate to repair yachts of all size and class, to repair the bigger ships. St. Vincent is a sailing community. The Grenadines are well renowned for building of boats and sailing. There's a necessity of having boats regularly serviced to serve the people of the Grenadines on the mainland. And people now have to go to Trinidad or Grenada to do the most mundane of repairs on the ships. You know, very soon the New Democratic Party would bring the development and the opportunities for growth in all of the key pillars that would enhance our economy, enhance our livelihoods, and create real jobs. West Kingstown, look out on August 1. Our fair is coming up, and it will be one with a difference. The usual plus some added attractions. And in the coming weeks, you will be hearing of the ads promoting the various components. Don't forget that tickets are on sale for the big raffle. Again, the brand new 65-inch flat screen TV, a weekend trip for two to Mustique, a food hamper among the main items. So just $5 for a ticket, a book of 5 is $20. Any NDP office will have the tickets shortly, and you can contact our office next to the cemetery there or NDP headquarters. They will all have tickets. If you need, just call and we'll get them to you. Thank you so much, Colin. Thanks again for hosting the program. Sorry to be out for 2 consecutive weeks and then had to be late this morning. But again, Colin, thank you not just for hosting these programs on the New Times and Nice Radio, but the tremendous work you do when we have our village meetings. And you know how blessed we are. We have you, we have Igel, we have Bert, and you know, God is amazing. And the people of this country do appreciate the tremendous work you guys do. And I want to, again, as chairman of the party, say how proud we are of you all and the tremendous work you're doing at the moment. So I know. I remember attending one meeting when somebody else was down to chair, and you turn up just to find out you are the chair for the meeting, and you proceeded as though you had been preparing for 2 weeks. It's tremendous, and Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
St.
your kind
Vincent and the
words.
Grenadines. God bless.
And that's where we come to the end of another edition of the New Times program today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, we thank you so very much for joining us and being here on the program. We thank the Honorable Daniel Cummins for being a part of the program here today. And we thank the Honorable Major Sinclair Leacock for taking some time out of his busy schedule to give us a call here today on the program. And as always, may the Most High continue to guide us and protect us all, especially in these trying times, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We encourage you to tune in again tomorrow on another edition of the New Times program right here on Nice Radio.
Central Leewood, get ready to turn up the vibes. It's the Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Myro. It's happening Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar. Come live and rally with your representative, Conroy Huggins. Meet the man with the plan, the vibes, and the vision for Central Leewood. Tickets are only $80. And this one is selling off fast. We leave Barrowly at 7 a.m., Kingstown at 8 a.m., and it's all presented by the Central Leewood Young Dems and the NDP Central Leewood Division. It's mix, mingle, and move with the mission. The future is now. Let's ride with Huggins in this massive Mix and Mingle 4.0 boat ride to Myro on Sunday, July 13th aboard the MV Gemstar.
This one's for country. Get ready as the NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division. So we're heading to Abundance Bar at Young Peace, North Union on Saturday, 28th June for a big karaoke and bingo. For bingo will be 4 games of $100 each with a jackpot of $1,000. Tickets only $5. Starting time 9 p.m. So come sing the night away and win some big money for Carnival. As NDP South Central Windward Constituency Division brings to you karaoke and bingo on Saturday, 28th June in Long Beach, North Union at Amanda's Bar. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.